Hey Leadhead, Lefty here. Just wanted to let you know that the audio will get better in about 5.5 minutes. Apologize for the technical errors. And for those watching the video picks up in about 5.5 minutes as well. Enjoy. To another episode of the Talking Lead Podcast. I'm your host, Lefty, and this is going to be a good show today. I'm looking forward to this. We will be covering the 2025 SHOT Show in this episode. So I have gathered a diverse panel to let everyone talk about their experience, what they saw, and get a little feedback. And then, as usual, Evan covered me, and he made a post on Instagram asking for listener questions. So we will definitely be fielding those as well. But let me do the introduction. So joining me to my right, ladies and gentlemen, it's industry writer extraordinaire, Andre Dalou. Andre, welcome in.
My pleasure to be here. My honor. It's good to be such a great panel of individuals.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're glad that you could make it. So thank you for joining us. And I know you're going to have an interesting outlook. We usually grab you while we're at the show, but I wasn't there this year, so I'm interested to see what all you encountered.
You were missed.
Maybe. I don't know.
A little bit.
I don't know if that's the consensus, but and then to his right, it's my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, from Firebird Targets and air gun shooter extraordinaire, Ton Jones.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we got to change your name to quarter ton now.
Yeah, I'm getting down there.
So much weight,
I can almost fit in normal people clothes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
I gave him a 3XL shirt at SHOT. It was pretty exciting.
And it fits.
Oh, does it fit?
It fits.
I figured it'd be loose on you by now. Probably a little bit.
No, I still got man titties. Takes a little bit to get over them.
Yeah. There's surgeries for that.
Yeah.
And then below me, the voice you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, returning guest and good friend of the show, Ryan the Coop Couperis.
Yeah, you got it right finally.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Bam.
Nailed it.
I mean, once you tell me how it's pronounced, and I usually get it right after that.
10 episodes later.
Absolutely. Yeah.
10 episodes later. And then my right-hand man, ladies and gentlemen, who covered me during SHOT Show this year, is none other than Evan the Floodman, Flood Munitions.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for having me this fine evening. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Happy to be here.
Can't wait to hear your adventures from SHOT Show.
Yes, sir.
See how that went. And then the longest member of the Leadhead Brigade, ladies and gentlemen.
Allegedly.
On this panel you are. I mean, you were kind of there from the very beginning. You know,
the longest supporter of the Talking Lead and member of the Leadhead crew. Is that what you meant?
Leadhead Brigade. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just thought you were talking.
here.
Yeah, I thought you were just talking. I mean, Tons losing weight. I'm the longest guy here, and
why Talking Lead exists. So, seriously, if it wasn't for you, I got to give props where props are due. Rob,
and appreciate it, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Yeah, I'm.
Of Talking Lead
it's late
to get us off the ground. It is late.
It's true.
But for our lead heads, it's all hours of the day. They listen whenever.
Yeah, no, nothing. I'm here for at least an hour. I promise.
Okay, well, we'll probably go longer than that, but you never know. You never know what's going to
I'll probably stay longer.
Oh yeah.
Glad to be here.
It's going to get good. It's going to get interesting. So, Rob Pincus, ladies and gentlemen, with Avidity Arms, the PDN Network, several other things that you're.
All the things. Yeah, walk the talk, Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll get to all of them.
We'll do all
Everybody was busy at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Some people finished. Some people were finished early. Some people worked remote. I was there through the closing bell at Friday on Friday. We're busy,
Wow.
busy. Lots of hats.
Yeah, and speaking of that, if you'll give me just 1 second, we're gonna do something.
Record.
God damn it! All right, we gotta redo all that, motherfucker.
You're welcome.
I told you it was late.
It is late.
I just noticed that.
Okay.
Yo, we're recording.
Now we're recording.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
That was okay.
Hey, at least I caught it now.
Replay the intro, and then I got the audio of all that, so I'll edit the audio in. No, for those watching the video, I forgot to hit record again, and the video portion of this in the beginning is just audio, but the video is here now. So, yeah, thanks for catching that, son.
Got your back, bro.
That's why I need an engineer working with me. What's that guy that Joe Rogan has? Jamie? I need a Jamie.
I was like, there's no red bar in the corner. We should record.
It might be nice if we recorded this for everybody else, not just ourselves. So those intros, this is our panel. Andre, Ton, Coop, Flood, Rob, thank you guys for joining us. Can't wait to hear about SHOT Show. I didn't make it this year, and I'm not upset about that. But I am hearing that this year might have been better than some previous couple of years. Seems like it might be getting better. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to hear this. But I was in the process of doing this because Rob brought something up about how he stayed until the very end.
Oh, you're gonna put out that, because I think congratulations is in order. If you're gonna call up the picture, I think you're calling up. Because I'm always impressed because I have a lot of hats. SHOT Show is busy for everybody.
Oh, you dirty pirate hooker.
But some people get all their business done before noon on Friday.
2:30.
And when I say all the business, I mean to include cleaning up, making the trash nicely organized for the people that are going to come through, the great and expensive union members in Las Vegas who are going to come through and clean. And congratulations, Ton. I know you love SHOT Show and you try to get every minute you can out of it. But the fact that you were cleaned up, done, and out by
2:30.
12:30.
It was 2:30.
I mean, gone. Like you left so fast. You knocked the sign over a little bit there. You left so fast. I didn't get to give you a hug because I was busy earlier in the week. You got done. You got out. Congratulations. Well played, SHOT Show. It's 2025.
At 2:30, I was like, know what? The floor manager came by. I said, I could rebook my flight. He's like, get the hell out of here. I said, perfect. We're out.
So what's
And gone.
in the bag? What's in the bag, Ton?
That is alkaline water. I left a stack of cards, which are gone, stickers, which are still there, which is funny, and some alkaline water.
And 5 minutes after that, I turned it into the Avidity Arms booth, by the way. Just, we can have some presents.
If you want a free booth at SHOT Show, just wait till about two hours before actual closing, you get a free booth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Legitimately, Travis and I were down there 5 minutes after you left. I was like, where the hell did he go? I'm like, oh, he said he had to catch a flight home. I'm like, damn, like he for real left on time. He's gone.
Yep. I was sitting there I was talking to the floor manager and my phone dinged and he said, what's that? I said, I can get rebooked. He looked left, right. He said, you want out? I said, oh, am I going to get busted? He's like, nope. Checked it off on his clipboard. I was like, rebook. He's like, get the hell out of here. I said, perfect. That's all I need to know.
So,
gone.
They won't let you rebook?
Oh, no, my flight got rebooked.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so on the airline, it tells you the option, your flights are overbooked. And it says, oh, your flight's been rebooked. And I said, okay, you can either take the flight that's later that night or take the option they give you. And I hit rebook, got the earlier flight, and I was gone. We made it to the airport with like 5-6 minutes to spare to get our luggage on.
Nice.
Perfect.
Well, that was smart move because I actually showed up to the airport about an hour and a half earlier than I normally would, which is like 47 minutes because 45 minutes is the cutoff to check your luggage, check the gun, whatever. I showed up early because everyone's like, Trump's going to be there. You got to get to the airport early. Sat in the Uber for 45 minutes because they shut down all vehicular traffic coming to the airport.
Is
Yeah,
that why
so
everybody was getting rebooked? I was trying to
so
figure out
from
why
like-
they were
yeah,
rebooking my
from, like,
flight.
They shit done
7 to 8, I sat in a car within, and they wouldn't. They were walking down, not letting people get out of the cars. It was a mess.
Then they shut
But
down the
you know,
too.
Trump's safe.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why I got my flight rebooked. I was like, there's no weather where I'm at, but why are they rebooking my flight?
And I thought, I had to fly back here to Asheville, and he was here on the airport holding a press conference Friday morning. So I thought I got lucky. Like, oh, good. Let him do his Asheville thing, get out of the way. He was going to California. I just didn't know he was then ending up stopping us from getting out of Vegas.
You were destined to bump into him and meet him somehow, and you just fucked it up.
Yeah, well,
That happened.
mhm.
So this was the 26th SHOT Show in Vegas. It's actually the 47th
Yeah.
annual one. So 40. Have you been to all 47, Andre?
Most of them.
Most
Most
of
of
them.
them.
The first one was in St. Louis back in 1979.
Yeah, I think they made that long-term contract with the Sands that Shotgun's going to be in Vegas for like forever, unfortunately. Show of hands, who wish they'd go someplace else? Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's not other shows that are in Vegas, right? That's the only one now because the Safari Club is doing it in Nashville now.
I like Vegas. I like people watching, seeing all the crazy. Plus,
Oh,
I can drive to
Supposedly,
it.
there's less than 10 cities in the country now, maybe less than that even, that can even house the show. That would be big. That have a facility and infrastructure big enough to house 60,000
Yeah,
people. For
that's
a
the real
conference.
issue is that most of these convention centers can't house as much space as required.
Yeah.
Well, they're claiming
Most have the ranges and stuff.
8. Let's see, how many square feet did they say it was? 830,000 net square feet, 18 acres. Enough space to park a 556 F-16, 556 F-16 fighter jets.
At one point, they said there was 13 miles of aisles.
13 miles of, well, they're saying 14.1 miles now. They've updated that. I guess they found
Probably including the Caesar's Palace now.
Yeah.
some extra closet.
I will say the attendance seemed down, and the fact that they were talking about the number of exhibitors and exhibit floor space in all the press releases is pretty much them admitting that attendance was down. So it was a little easier to move around. But unlike a couple years ago when people were like, I'm not going if I have to wear a mask, it wasn't attendance was down and everybody was there to work. This was just attendance was down and there was the same from the last decade portion of people just there for patches and pictures.
Yeah.
I thought.
But is it a bad thing that their attendance goes down?
Oh, no, it's a bad thing that there's, 40% of the people don't really need to be there. It's not really a trade show.
Right. But
Well, I
that's
can tell you that the press room in the mornings was packed. There was a lot.
Well, yeah, because of croissants.
You guys saw that, but when I was there in the morning, you could barely get around. All the tables were taken, all the chairs were taken. They're setting up to film all over the place inside the press room. I've never seen that much people with media credentials in the press room ever. And that was like all the days I was there, the press room was completely packed.
Yeah,
Nice.
the first 2 days were ridiculous up there. But, you put out free food and give free passes, you're going to get a lot of people.
Yeah.
Really, media people are kind of subject to turning their heads for free food and drink. Oh my God.
I was there. I mean, I'm guilty. I took a
Oh God,
diet
yeah.
Coke.
I mean, coffee in the morning. Oh yeah, you betcha. Get me there.
Yeah, I thought they were charging for stuff this year. I guess not.
No, that's the best gig for a media is the press room in the morning.
So who went to range day? Who went to
I
the
did.
range day? So Andre,
did.
Floody, Ton, did you go?
Hell no.
Coop
Didn't end up going. No.
didn't make it to a range. Did you go to a range day? Because there's more than just one that are held.
I went to 0 range.
What about
No, I did my tour of duty on range days for almost 2 decades. I'm good.
Gotcha. Oh, I didn't know if maybe you might have had
Yeah.
your there for people to shoot.
No,
Did a
no,
private.
that's a small startup business in a struggling economy. We can't afford ranges.
Yeah. Don't you want to go out there and get sandblasted and watch people that have no intentions of buying your firearms just burn ammunition for no reason?
It's not all bad, but it's definitely
It's more for the media, is what it's for. I would
oh
think.
yeah, for sure. And that's to say, I will say that the last few years that I was out there, like running the pistol range for Winchester, they were doing a really good job of policing who could get in and who couldn't. It became a free for all like a decade ago, but I would say most of the last decade, it's been way tighter controlled out there.
Yeah, the last few times that I've been there, it was. I mean, if you didn't have your credentials, you couldn't get in. Too bad, so sad.
How was the weather, Andre? How was the weather this year?
Cold and windy. It was cold. I was really bundled up. I ended up putting on a scarf and gloves, and I was well covered, but other people were not. And the wind was really, really nasty, and it was blowing everything around. I mean, there were some good videos of looked like a sandstorm in there, and it was pretty grim. And there was a lot of vendors who were struggling, but still, I found what I found interesting. I was able to go ahead and try the Glock Gen 5s, and then went over to Shadow Systems and tried theirs immediately afterwards and saw if there's any kind of real difference. I was able to do that. So that was kind of useful. But for the most part, as a range day, if I'd have missed that, I would have not cried.
Glock Gen 5, is that what you said?
Yeah, Glock Gen 5. Yeah, because they've got some the Glock Gen 5 is a much better trigger pull than what we've seen in the past with the Glocks.
But it's been out a long time.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, this year we're hoping they might come out with something interesting, and all they came out with is, ooh, look, Glocks with red dots on them.
Aren't they kind of like BMW, where like every 10 years or whatever they come out with the new body model or whatever?
I don't think it's time.
At least Glock found a way to keep people from immediately needing to replace the rear sight.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about the Glocks is that they the ones that are now coming out of the factory with the red dots, they're not using the Glock spacer panel, which are a notorious weak spot. That's because when you try to put a red dot on a Glock using their individual panels, a lot of people are having a lot of problems with them breaking and failing. So this comes straight from the factory with the red dot directly mounted on the slide with no piece in between, which is interesting.
A warranty if you take it off?
Probably warranty for everything, but probably.
Yeah.
No,
So
I do think it's interesting the way they're sandwiching it in with the rear sight. I don't know that. I don't know that that'll exist in 3 years. That may be we tried it and it didn't work. But what did you think? You think it's going to last?
What, the red dots or the rear sights or the sights?
No, the way they're wedging that aim point proprietary relationship with aim point, where they're wedging it in there under the rear sight. I forget what they're calling it. Is it what anybody know the terminology there?
Oh shit, what do they call it?
CAO, something like that, I think.
Oh, COA.
COA. Yeah, that relationship between that specific aim point. I mean, are we going to see Hollow Suns and Gideons and all kinds of things jump into that, or are we going to see other companies jump into emulating the same mount, or are we just going to see it join the 45 gap?
Personally, I think that there's not going to be a pistol sold in 5 years that they won't have a red dot on it, because that's just where the market's moving. And red dots.
Red dots, I get it, but I just mean that particular proprietary relationship, the way it wedges in there.
Because there's much better ones on the market. Aimpoint's good, but I mean, if you want to sell a Glock with a better price point and use a Holosun, why not? So you should be able to go ahead and have the ability to pick and choose which red dot you want to have on your Glock. And if you want to go ahead and get a Trijicon top end great sight, sure, why not? So they should be able to do that. But obviously, we do not know the business transaction that transpired between Aimpoint and Glock to get that done. Somebody probably offered a great deal. So and Pinham was probably Aimpoint to Glock to get their sights on a Glock pistol that's fresh from the factory. So your point is well taken. I really wonder. That's a very good business idea that I hope Glock thinks about. But you never know, since when it comes to Glock, the Austrians make the decisions. That's all.
It kind of galls me a little bit to hear you guys say that, red dots, that's all you're going to see on pistols in a few years. I mean, technology always fails, and I wish that people could understand that, and kind of like the military. They're like, yeah, we'll just throw an ACOG or RCO on a gun and everything will be good. And I think that, pistol, the pistol community is kind of like that too. Yeah. Well, if you don't, and you see all these industry professionals, influencers, what do you want to call them? Like, oh, if you don't have a red dot on your pistol, and you're not shit, so to speak. But it's like, hey, look, if you can't shoot iron sights, you have no business putting a red dot on your pistol, because technology fails. What happens when that fails? And when you look at, I don't know. That's my 2 cents on that. It's kind of, I don't know. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess.
Well, I did talk to a gunny in the Marine Corps, and I asked him just that years ago about the problems with red dots. And he says his response was he had more maintenance issues with iron sights than the red dots that they were using, and that blew my socks off. I was really surprised to hear that from the Marine Corps.
No kidding.
Like, wow. Yeah. I was astonished. And he said, yeah, I had more problems with the iron sights than the red dots. And I had no response to that, because I was just like blown away. Now, I in talking to police agencies, they have a tendency to really enjoy the red dots because they're easier to train with. It takes less time to train people. So they're in love with them. So that's what the cops are going with almost entirely, is red dots for training and for use.
Yeah, you got to learn. You got to learn the irons. You got to learn the basics first.
I would counter. I mean, I love gunnies, the Marines. I am one, or was one, anyways. But I love them. But like, my favorite thing to do on the range with students during a shooting package, and they're like, "Oh, hey, gunny, my, can you check my sights? Something's wrong." My favorite thing to do would be to stand on my left foot with my left hand, one hand, and shoot a piece of steel at whatever yard line we were at, and then let them know that it was just them, not the iron sights. And people always used to say that about the Berettas, like, oh, my sights are off. Like, no, actually, you just don't know proper fundamentals of marksmanship, and that's why you're missing. And, I mean, to be honest with you, red dots are a lot easier to train guys on. Because you just look at the dot and shoot, who doesn't love that? I still don't know why on pistols, why we're just going with slide mounted red dots instead of like a permanent mounted whatever, right? If you have a red dot on a carbine, right, the dot or the sight never moves, right? And on a pistol, right, it's on the slide, it's going back and forth. And yes, we do 1 million reps to train to get proficient, and perfect practice makes perfect and all that. But why haven't we found a better system? Right? I feel like that's just an excuse. Like, why are we still mounting a red dot to a slide, knowing that when a guy first picks up that pistol, right, and he doesn't have the best recoil control and all that stuff, right? Like, there's got to be a better way on that. That was like 2 separate rants wrapped into one. But at the end of the day,
I mean, go back 15, 20 years ago, every red dot was mounted on an extension that came up off the frame, right? All of the competition dots that were mounted, and the size is really the reason. You can still go out and find those things that come up off the pins, attached through pins or screws to the frame, or longer pins even through the Glock. There's ways to do that, but the size and bulk is the reason that no one's stuck with that. tradition. I think the problem is that on the range, dots are a lot better. In practical close quarters defensive use, I don't think that sights or dots get used a lot. People
Oh,
want
yeah.
to perform well on the range. Cops want to shoot high qualification scores. So luckily, 99.99999% of our shooting is just on the range, training, practicing, playing, whatever, and red dots do perform well there. And that's why I'm kind of with you on the whole idea of we don't need them. And I told people that over and over and over again. At some point when it doubled the cost of the gun, I was lobbying with most of my defensive shooting students, just don't worry about it. It's a gimmick. Buy more training time, buy more ammo. You don't need to worry about it. I don't care what YouTubers are saying. But by the time you get to the point where it only adds $150 or $200 to the gun, and you can have a quality option, so long as you are indexing with your sights as well, you're not blocking the sights with a giant mailbox up on top, or having to get suppressor height sights to use your red dot with the defensive sights that you choose to put on your gun. Now for $150, $200, go for it.
You know, Rob, I think you hit the dirty little secret is that I talked to a lot of cops involved in shootings, and I asked them very quietly, I said, how much did you actually focus on your front sight during the gunfight? And they looked at me and went, I didn't look. I just shot. And the real dirty little secret is most of those gunfights are point shooting. You know, they see the bad guy in front of them and they put the gun in front of it and try to get the best alignment as possible and pull the trigger. But when it comes to actually looking at the front sight during a gunfight, boy, that's not common. And we think that's like, okay, we train that and that's the way it's supposed to be. But I talked to a lot of people and nobody's ever said, oh yeah, I got myself a really good sight picture. And then I squeezed the trigger. Like, no, a bad guy was there. I put my gun out in front of me and pulled the trigger. I'm like, yeah, that's about right. Yeah. So the only thing about red dots,
and in those situations, the dot may show up. But if you don't have if you don't have that kinesthetic alignment first, if you haven't established that, if you're if you're shooting from the hip with a laser, that's no good, right? So as long as you're getting the gun in parallel with your line of sight, it's going to be where you need it to be at those close quarters. Like I said, I don't think anybody's under geared if they don't have a red sight. But I gave up, lamenting the presence of the red sight 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
you brought up a good point. Something I wanted to ask about. The red dot has become more and more prevalent in the shooting community, and it seems like you remember the lasers, the actual lasers.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with lasers. Yeah, they're still here. They
seem to have faded out though. They don't seem to be as prevalent as they used to be. Remember?
Well, the lasers always got a bad rap, right? I'm a big super fan of lasers. I think lasers make a great tertiary aiming device, right? Because with this, I can do kinesthetic alignment, both eyes open. I can look at that dot that's in my line of sight, but I can't use the dot or kinesthetic alignment if I'm stuck in extreme close quarters with the gun tucked under me, trying to keep somebody from getting at it. But I can, when it's down here, turn on that laser, right? I can injured shoot this gun across my body with the laser. I can do a lot of things with a laser that I can't do when the gun isn't in my line of sight. And obviously the laser will fit on the pistols as well. So I've always been, I think people are better served with a gun with a good set of irons and a laser. So kinesthetic alignment, focused on the threat is your primary aiming. Sight alignment, sight picture is your secondary aiming, and a laser makes a great tertiary aiming. Your red dot and your iron sights are really redundant. Yeah, if the battery goes out, you can still use the iron sights, as I was talking about before. But if it's damaged or if that window is occluded, your iron sights are out too. So having a laser is not a horrible idea. But they got, again, the problem is ranges. Too many instructors and educators would say, oh, lasers ruin people on the range because they aren't looking through their gun. They're just shooting from the hip, or they're looking over their gun while they're using the laser. Well, if you're running the range, that's your fault there, instructor guy. Get the gun in the right place and then teach people when the laser can help, which is not when the gun's in the right place. It's when you shouldn't be overlapping sighted fire and laser fire because you can't see the laser if the gun's in the right place. But that's another rant. Personaleventsnetwork.com for more information.
What's tertiary? What big ass.
Third.
Is that what it is? Third?
Yeah,
okay.
Third. Yeah, Rob.
2 is one. One is none. 3 is key.
3 is tertiary. Apparently, is that French?
The cops I saw that like to use lasers are the ones that use shields a lot, because if you have a shield,
Absolutely.
a laser makes a lot of sense. That way you can use your shield and still get a good point of aim using from around the side where you don't have to expose yourself. I saw that and said, yes, that's definitely a purpose with lasers, and that's
Yeah,
one of them.
it's a good example of when the gun is in an unorthodox position relative to your line of sight, for sure.
So let's do this because I was going to do a whole different order, but since we're talking red dots and lasers, what did you see at SHOT Show that fills that void? Something that you've been looking at. Red dot. Flood, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I didn't see many solo lasers. I think the only lasers I really saw were on IR platforms for night vision stuff. But when it comes to red dots, I was just going to say for range day, since we were on that subject for a quick minute.
I was going to, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't shoot many guns with red dots or lasers at range day. I want to say the one I did shoot was with Culper Precision. I think they had a red dot on one of the rifles I shot. I didn't really see anything brand new and fancy. I saw some cool new stuff from Meprolite. They've got a new red dot out, a couple new LPVOs. EOTech has a new LPVO. It's tiny, just a little guy. It's kind of cool. That seemed to be one of the new hot items when it came to optics that EOTech was putting out. I did stop by Gideon Optics. They had a lot of really cool stuff going on there. They had some cool guns with some optics on it. Those guys are super fun to hang out with. Nothing in particular that really jumped out to me. I think like back to Rob's point for the lasers, I think Crimson Trace is one of the only booths I stopped by very briefly that had like standalone lasers. But I'm sure he could speak a little bit more to that point on who's actually manufacturing those, opposed to the one that I saw was Crimson Trace.
Okay. What about the rest of you guys? Did you get eyes on any red dots or?
I will definitely second the vote for the Gideon boys. Great company, hard charging, adding new things all the time. And this year, the big thing they added was a slim RMS-C platform footprint enclosed optic. So that's their first tiny enclosed emitter optic. That's really cool. Hollow Sun is still threatening to put out their Steiner CQT for the everyday people, $1,500 integrated thermal. Hopefully that does come out this year. It's definitely neat. A lot of cool new thermal stuff from Sightmark too at a very affordable price for people who are into that. As far as the hunting goes, of course, the Pulsar, their sister company, puts out all the super high end stuff. The Viridian is the company that I usually send the green laser I was just playing around with on that 300 blackout is from Viridian. Viridian has their CTL, CT5, and they also have a light laser combo. I think that's really the move for people is get a light laser combo. A lot of people would rather have a white light on their gun than a laser. You can have both. I honestly think the laser is probably more useful in the real world from a defensive standpoint or law enforcement standpoint, like I said. But when you're going towards the bad guys for law enforcement, military, it does make more sense to potentially have that white light. But for the person that's doing home defense or concealed carry, I think a laser light combo makes a lot of sense. The other company I'm friends with and keep an eye on what they're doing is Primary Arms, and they've got their new HTX 12 which looks like a super durable, like top tier enclosed emitter. Haven't played with it yet, and they have a new 12 to 30 magnified optic with their amazing array of reticles that I'm anxious to get on a 300 Win Mag.
Nice. When I was at Big Rock before SHOT, I went by the Burris guys booth, and they had some new LPVOs that they had out, and they had some thermals that were pretty impressive too.
Oh yeah.
Anybody go by Burris?
Well, I looked at a lot of thermals during the show because that's an interest. I've written several articles about thermals and IR, and that is another exploding business right now. There's a lot of companies coming out now, and the price of thermals and IR optics are dropping like a rock. And you can get yourself a really, really good thermal for less than $2,000 easy any day. And we're talking about really high quality. And some of these are really good. I did a couple nighttime hog hunts with thermals. And besides being incredibly fun, It's one shot stop. I mean, and if you're efficient, you can be in and out of there by 3 hours. You don't no spending all night looking around. You go there, find a hog, kill it, and you're done. Those thermals are extremely good, and
Speaking
that's
of thermals, Coop is like
industry
expert thermal guy here. So Coop, what I'm sure
Yeah.
you were checking out thermals and whatnot.
Yeah. I was just going to ask Andre, did you stop by the Night Pearl booth at all?
No, I did not.
They were. Oh, if you stopped by the Seekins booth, they're back towards that area. There's a relatively new thermal company called Night Pearl. A buddy of mine, Martin Richter from Hog Snort Resort. He does some stuff with leapers, and he's been shooting some Night Pearl stuff for a while. They're out of the Czech Republic. Very close to Pulsar. Actually, look through their stuff. Very economical as far as like their 640. I think dealer price is around like probably $2,000, 2,300 maybe. So what I saw impressed me. I mean, especially from I deal with my clients, and a lot of the hunting I do with people is blue collar folks, and they like those prices.
Oh yeah.
And so those guys, they're super humble, and they're pretty hungry. I shoot a lot of AGM because that's what I recommend to my clients, and they shoot like they're like, oh, I'll go get it because that's blue collar prices. AGM just put out the 1280. I think their new one's called the Evolver, and then their Adder V2. They've got a 1280 in that lineup with a 60 millimeter objective lens, and look that super. I mean, they're really stepping their game up.
AGM. They have the binoculars. Hard. Did you see their binoculars?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thermal. Oh my God. And the price point on that is like what, $1,300 for thermal binoculars that's a laser rangefinder and daytime, nighttime, anything. It is like, oh, freaking give me one of those.
Yeah. The owner told me, he's like, hey, our goal is to make like regular glass, in the binocular section, like a thing of the past. And
absolutely.
At the rate they're going to do it because those things were killer.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's just phenomenal. And it is so good. Yeah, the
MSRP that's just their 256 model. Their new models blow that out of the water. They got a 384 and a 640 in one of them. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, that's Bluetooth too. So whatever you see, you can send to whatever you want. So I mean, it's really smart. It's smart technology. But in what they I suggested they do is they ought to go into the boating market, because I don't know if you're a serious boater that likes to get out in the Gulf Stream or out there in deep water, you need to have something like that so you can see shit at night.
So it's funny that you said that. There's a local store down here my media guy works for, and he told them, because they do all boating stuff, he told them that exact thing, like, hey, bring these people on board, right? They need that out in the ocean, etc. But I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, we got this thing called a keyhole suite, and one of our I can't remember what the designation of the monocular is now, but I could see my buddy Chris standing in a Zodiac a kilometer offshore with this thermal, right? And to see this stuff now hitting the market and being used, right, in the spaces that it's being used is freaking, pretty awesome from the hunting standpoint anyway, and law enforcement too.
Well, a few years ago, something like that would be like $15,000. Now it's down to a tenth of that. So, and people I don't think understand yet just how price ready all this stuff is now.
Correct.
So yeah, I'm a big believer in that. That's good stuff. A lot of fun.
Yeah, the looping back around to the pistol dot thing. I did check out that thermal from Hollow Sun on the pistol, and for me, when I'm guiding hunts, I use irons because I found that a red dot in the middle of the night when it's all clogged up with debris from, being on my hands and knees tracking hogs and whatever, that red dot don't cut the cookies even with the light on. So I just go with irons. But that freaking thermal that goes on the pistol kind of excites me. And I don't know. I asked the guy, I can't remember his name is right now, but I asked him what the battery life is on it. And I mean, because with that thermal on a pistol, you could, pretty much anybody could run that, like that. I was pretty impressed with it, actually.
Coop, we got a problem. You're hunting wrong.
Dude. Not me, clients, dude. Not me when I'm tracking animals. Did you miss that part?
You got to come to Texas and do my style hunting.
Well, that's true. I was bragging about this 350-pound hog that I shot in Florida. My friend in Texas goes, 350 pound, that's a piglet. Let me show a picture of this hog that I shot. It was like a fucking 1,000-pounder. It's like, it looked like a freaking dinosaur. It was like, okay, next time I won't try to compare sizes with somebody from Texas. So that's true.
Can't do that.
No, I did see some cool thermal and red dots over at Athlon. Athlon had the Chronos, the pretty cool setup, and they're coming out with the ballistic app, and they had a really nice clip-on that wasn't thermal clip-on for your helmet. That was a pretty cool setup too. I was over at AGM checking out their gear, but Athlon actually surprised me with a lot of their thermal, and the price is just dropping, so it's not too horrible to get into. And with their ballistic app and everything, I was pretty surprised. I'm going to have to check them out.
I'll tell you one thing. I went by AGM, and I had my Athlon shirt on, and I was getting a really, really, really cold reception. And I was getting like one-word answers, and they're like, well, you're Athlon. Oh, how come you don't? I'm like, oh, no, we're not that Athlon. This is a different Athlon. And they went, oh, okay.
Oh, let me talk to you then. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, in that case, sure, okay. I was like, what did I do wrong? Did I fart or something? What was it?
It's crazy. It's crazy. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, like in the civilian thermal market anyways, I've been hunting things with thermal since I think the first thermal I used like on a gun was probably in Afghanistan, military wise. And we had all kinds. Our frickin' thermals we're looking at dudes are like this big. And I've got guys who are team chiefs now at MARSOC that are like, hey, what's on the market that we can get that's smaller than our issued gear? And 5 years ago, a 384, I think it was like I can't remember what model Armor Sight had before the contractor. That was like the first civilian thermal I had bought, but it is probably more expensive than one of the 640 core thermals that I have right now. So like all these companies coming out with thermals, the Burris, Winchester's got a thermal, Athlon. You name it. Everyone's getting into the game. That's great for the consumer,
Not bad at all.
Hey, Coop, let me ask you a question because you're throwing numbers out there, and I'm new to trying to understand the numbers associated with consumer thermal. And what I have caught on the wind is that some companies are reporting a resolution number that's hitting the eye after digital processing to the screen, while other companies are reporting what the sensor is actually. I see you nodding. You know what I'm talking about. Help me out. Help the people out because I only know enough to ask the question.
So you have your core, like which is like, most important really. Your core and most of them are 384, 640, and 1280. And then you have the display. So a company like Pulsar or iRay, Pulsar's display is higher resolution. So let's say they have a 640 core. and then they have I swear it's I think it's 1084 resolution in their display, right? That 1084 resolution display will beat, Rix's, their 640, and then whatever their display is less than that 1084. And the way that I kind of explain it to people is like how easy it is on the eye.
Well, isn't there a delay factor too involved? And that's what makes a difference.
Yeah. So there is a delay factor, and that comes down to when it recalibrates, or some people call it a NUC or auto NUCs or whatever, or auto calibrates. That comes down. I'm very certain that comes down to the micrometers, the MK. I'm not an engineer.
Yeah, it's the MK
for a living, but it's the MK, which I think is micrometers, right, Tom?
Yeah,
that comes down to that. So all of those things add up to, which is better. But I mean, quite honestly, right now, like the Night Pearl, they're 640. I can't remember what their resolution is on their freaking display and what the MK level was. But what I do know is that if I was a guy who just went out once a month to go hog hunt, I would be happy as can be with that thing. Me, I hunt 2 or 3 times a night, or 2 or 3 times a week at night, if not more. And that's how I make or do a lot of what I do. And so I want the best of the best if I can afford it, which I mean, honestly, I can't. But but yeah, so that's kind of, does that help a little bit on your question?
You spend as much or as little as you want because of the market is opening up, and like you said, all these other companies are getting involved, but you have to be aware of all these different functions that a thermal can and is supposed to do, because some of them, the battery life is really shitty, or the detection is shitty.
When you shoot at night, do you use a tripod?
I do. Absolutely.
Yuck, bog?
Absolutely not.
Hater.
So the bog is where I think that every tripod shooter starts.
Oh yeah.
And they're great to start, but again, like if you're hunting all the time, or if you're like, you know what, man, like between this, my gun, the thermal, all this stuff, like this is heavy, I want something lighter, then go to a carbon fiber tripod. I personally use Two Vets because they sponsor our nonprofit. And
What's
I've had
that
some
again?
to test.
What's
I
the name
use
of that company?
Two Vets tripods.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm also not a bullshitter, and I'll tell you right now that I get some imported that I sell that are the exact same thing, and I sell them for $300 instead of $800.
Nice.
I mean, I love Two Vets. Here's my problem. I want to buy everything that's American made products. You know what? And the fact of the matter is that to manufacture an all carbon fiber tripod in this country would be $2,000 to the end user, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I use Two Vets tripods. They're good. I mean, some
What
guys
are you
use
using for
Warrior.
a sport rifle. Are you doing like mounting it directly to the rifle, or are you clamping it?
I'm using Arca.
Okay. Have you ever used like a clamp? Because I've wanted to get one. So I've got a nice tripod. I just don't have a way to clamp the rifle. And from what I've seen locally, it's pretty much just the bog setup, because the tripod comes with the clamp. I want to find just the clamp separate. I was curious if you had any recommendations. I'm looking for something like that. A shot, couldn't find anything.
Hog saddle.
So, yep, Hog Saddle. Actually, I've been testing out their newest model ball head. It has a Picatinny and Arca all on the same head. Pretty good piece of gear. You can run the clamp You could buy a ball head, and then you could take your clamp off your bog and stick it right on there. If you wanted to go that route, for me, like especially predator and predator hunting, and I mean even hog hunting. When I spot and stock hogs, I prefer to clamp my gun into the ARCA, and I carry the whole gun, tripod and gun extended on my shoulder. So as soon as we get in close or where we're going to set up and shoot, I set it up and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I've done that with the tripod. I put in the Picatinny because you can get the ball mount where you can go ahead. It's basically a photography mount, and you put on the Picatinny attachment. And once you got the Picatinny attachment on there, you can put in anything that takes a Picatinny. You can put on there. I do the same thing. I just basically bolt everything together so it's nice and sturdy. Put the tripod over my shoulder. You can walk around forever with that. Now, what I've also done too is put in, the front rail on pistols that has a Picatinny. I've used that too. So I've actually put in pistols on a tripod and use that because one of my goals this year is to go hog hunting at night with a thermal with using a pistol, 10 millimeter honey badger. That's what I want to do. Take a hog with a 10 millimeter pistol.
I know a place.
Goals. Gotta have,
Oh, really?
gotta have goals. John knows a lot of places.
Yeah.
I know a place.
Coop knows a lot of places too.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to
Yes,
him about that.
indeed.
Maybe we could. Where are you at, Coop?
North Carolina.
Okay, that's a short drive for me.
That's not
Where are
too
you
far.
It's South Florida, where there's no
Okay,
snow on the
that's
ground, and I sun by my pool today. Yeah, that place.
Yeah, the snow is just melting. I'm actually pissed off because I would have loved to have been here last week on my 4-wheeler and side by side, towing the kids around on sleds in the snow and doing all
That's
that
that-
stuff. But
That's
no,
that white, wet, cold stuff, isn't it? That's
oh
no?
yeah.
Okay.
East.
Yeah. If I was down by you, I'd be shooting iguanas.
Oh, don't worry about it. They're falling out of trees down here. Just go in the morning, collect them in a bucket.
Yeah.
Swear to
Yeah, I
God.
bet they are.
I like the newscast in Florida, the Falling Iguana newscast.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
one of my favorites.
True story. You go out there in the morning, and they're literally upside down, laying on the grass, going,
Yep.
"Fuck me, man. It's cold."
All right, so back to the show. So the two of you guys, Andre and Flood, are the only two that went to the range day. Anything? It doesn't sound like there was anything that was just mind blowing at range day. Or,
Correct.
I shot the PR-57 from Keltec. That was pretty cool.
That's not mind blowing. I mean,
No, but I mean,
Um,
what's mind blown these days? I think it was cool and innovative.
I'm
And
impressed that
it
you
was definitely
were
interesting.
Tech and mind blown are put together in the same sentence.
well, mind altering is different than mind blowing. So
There we go.
yeah,
I mean,
Well,
Like,
since you brought
we
it up,
even-
talk about it because it's
Yeah.
like clip loaded or
yeah. So it's top loading from a 10-round clip, shoots the 5.7, holds 21 rounds. It's just different, you know. I mean, there's been guns in the past that have had the same style. One of them was created by Kellgren, but it was definitely interesting. The trigger reset and pull on it was nothing to write home about, but it was certainly a fun, interesting gun to shoot. Definitely, I mean, 5.7 is a smooth shooter no matter what, especially with a rotating barrel. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of a cool experience to shoot that. That was kind of like one of those things that was talked about, I think, pretty highly during shot.
Meltec is a company that's afraid to FOFO.
I mean,
Another
it's-
really. Sorry, go ahead.
circumvents. It just circumvents. You know, it's not magazine fed.
Yeah, but it's not. A lot of those laws, I was looking into it a little bit. A lot of those state laws pretty much say you can't have a capacity. They don't say mag capacity or detachable mag capacity. And I don't think it was brought to market to circumvent those laws. I think more or less, and from my opinion, and I didn't really talk to the boys at Keltec about it, but I think it's cool that it eliminates the issue of mag feeding, right? Because a lot of guns that I've ran in my days, the problem that I'm having is the mag, and then I switch to a different mag or a different manufacturer of the magazine, and I don't have any issues. So I think that could help eliminate issues with it. But an issue that it could also cause is how do you clear a jam? Typically to clear a jam, you lock the slide back and drop the mag. So now all of a sudden you can't do that. So hopefully it doesn't jam. But I think either way, it's really cool to see that something new is coming to market. I love the regurgitated ARs and Glock clones. There's always improvement, but it's fun to see something new, and I enjoyed that. And one other thing that I did shoot while I was there was the EAA Gerson, the Match X demo that you're familiar with. It was super fun. They were saying that I was having issues with 115 grain, but I didn't have any issues shooting it, and super smooth for the price point of that 2311 or 2011, if you will, style of gun. So that was fun. But yeah, it was bitter cold, even for a Utah boy. It's like literally 1 degree outside of my house, covered in 3 feet of snow, and I was freezing in Vegas. That wind was gnarly, but overall, I'm glad I went to range day, and there's definitely some cool stuff going on.
Well, good. I'm glad you got to experience it finally.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun.
Evan,
I
does
ran into him on day one.
What was that?
I said I ran into you on day one.
Did I see you at range day, or was that Tuesday?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Day one of the show, not range day. My bad.
Yeah, I actually got in on Saturday night and then helped Huxworks set up their booth all Sunday. So Saturday was day one for me. But yeah, I'm glad I saw you.
All right, so range day, uneventful, unimpressive, nothing that you guys saw. Now, I mean, I'm sure you didn't get to every single booth and see what all was going on there, but
sure.
But it's always
Evan,
miserable.
did the Kel-Tec have a floor plate to drop to clear out rounds if there is a malfunction, or did it not?
Nope, it's all molded plastic, one piece on the bottom.
Just hope.
So you can take the slide off very easily. So maybe that's how you clear it.
I don't know,
but
we'll get them on. We'll let them talk about it in detail.
There you go.
Do a whole episode on that. So range day, skip it. First day of SHOT Show, the floor expos. So I know Rob got to walk around quite a bit, but he had a lot of meetings. I don't know where you're able to get. Flood was there, walking around the whole time. Was walking around. He had several meetings. Ton, I apparently walked around a little bit since he had a.
He did. I never saw him at his booth.
Door.
Andre walked around too. So let's talk about the floor show and what was something that really caught your eye. What was like an eye catcher that made you do a double take, Andre?
I got something.
Or
so
Flood.
there was a ton of VR stuff, like virtual reality stuff.
Holy shit, yeah.
And it was very, very cool to see it. I thought it was awesome. One of them that I tried, I got a picture here of the brand. It's called Operator XR. But there's also Mantis. There was the name's escaping me right now, but I tried them out as well. But so pretty much what you're seeing your VR, and then you've got like a little handset piece, and then you've got your the air gun or whatever type of airsoft gun you're shooting. Yes, so this was really cool, and I think all you guys would probably get a kick out of it if you got to try it. Unfortunately, they just do military and law enforcement, but it blew me away because the VR headset that you're using, it's actually using 4 cameras to map the terrain and the room that you're in, and then it creates an environment for you to go through without running into the walls or pillars or shit that's in the way. And it was, I put that VR headset on and I felt like I was fully immersed in this room. I had a nice rifle set up. I was in all this gear, and they had mapped it to where you wouldn't run into the post that was downstairs. And you're walking through this room doing, I'm not military or LE, but you're walking through these rooms, clearing these rooms. And it was extremely enveloping, I guess you could say. One of the guys was telling me that a couple of the people that he sent it to, they use it. I don't know if he was just getting me riled up about it, but he was saying they use it in their C-130s when they're flying in for missions, and they put these headsets on and they train in the airplane before they drop into a mission, which I thought was really interesting to hear that. I don't know if that's actually something that makes sense for them to do, but there was a lot of virtual reality stuff. And I think that's going to be the future of, this is my opinion, the future of a lot of training is it's going to move to this because, sometimes it's hard to drive an hour and a half to the range or get a bunch of ammo for training. And these systems are just going to become more and more affordable, and people are going to be utilizing this for training, which is a very interesting concept. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but
it's going to enhance the training experience where it can be implemented to enhance the training experience. But I mean, there's no substitute, and Rob will tell you this, for real live.
Sure, of course. It was just really cool to see all of it. That it was like every other booth. That and thermal scopes downstairs.
Rob, to get your take on the virtual training.
I worked with a company out of Canada called Chimera. Probably 8 or 9 years ago, we started taking.
I remember that.
The balance of speed and precision target and my voice commands and integrating into their range, their flat range experience. So you get the cognitive commands and get sort of like a mini version if you came to a combat focus shooting class or an IDS class. I know that there's a couple of cutting edge guys. I don't know. It's almost all law enforcement, military stuff. I don't know how much they've talked about it, so I don't want to use their names, but some very well respected guys in the industry have worked with Chimera and other companies to create modules for guys that can't get out to do some very specific types of training, working in specific environments. One of the things that I also was involved with those guys, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a big blow up because there was a school shooter game on Steam where you played the role of the school shooter, supposedly. Well, what had actually happened was that they had open sourced a training module for law enforcement to have school shooter response being trained, and out on Steam somebody twisted it around so you became the hunter instead of the good guys responding, and they got a whole bunch of bad press over that. So it's interesting. Young lady Pincus wanted one of the little meta devices for Christmas, so she got that, and it's amazing how far it's come. With those guys, they were using the backpack computers so that you weren't tethered, but you still needed the when I was working with them, you still needed the anchor points. And now, as you were describing, Evan, that everything self maps, and you get a lot of the augmented reality, which I think is really, really interesting for being able to go into a school with augmented reality and have the computer show you a bad guy and use a firearm or use flashlights, use flashbangs, use all this kinds of stuff that you might be using. You could have wounded out there, but all of that, the augmented reality. So it cuts out the role players, cuts out some of the training issues of safety equipment and things like that when you're using simunitions. We're just going to see more and more and more of it. There's a lot of good companies out there that have been traditionally.
Was the guy that you worked with Mike Anderson at Chimera? Oh,
no, that's not ringing a bell. Band of the Sea, his name did too, but no, it's not ringing a bell. Like I said, this was going back 8-9 years ago.
Yeah, that was Mike. I think he used to work for them, but I think he was like one of the developers of that product, because he came to Royal Range a couple of times. Anyway,
was he Canadian?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Was he Canadian?
Yeah,
maybe it was Mike. Maybe I'm losing my mind. I'm getting old. I don't know.
Yeah. No biggie. But yeah, I like to see the virtual and the simunition stuff coming, progressing.
But again, it's tactics. It's not fundamentals. I think like what I was doing with them on the square range simulation was really just, it wasn't the focus of what was going on. It was giving them another module to add to their training suite. That's not where the money is. It's like CERT pistols, or it's like any kind of simunitions. All that should be for tactics and application, not for developing your fundamentals. Anytime somebody tells me they're using, a CERT pistol to develop their fundamentals, it's like, well, photons don't have a lot of recoil. So I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're probably not. You're certainly, after the first shot, it's not the thing, but it's great for doing a lot of the things that you can't do on the live range.
Yeah.
Well,
the
guy was,
you can quote me on that, son.
Training too is to run through and actually do it. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of applications for it. What were you saying, Coop? You gonna say something?
Oh,
I was just going to say the guy.
It's all.
Sorry.
Oh, it's Flood.
Yeah, go ahead. You could.
I was just going to say the guy who was telling me about it was pretty much focused on like, this is all about training you guys to communicate. So, I mean,
Yeah,
Rob has a
yeah.
very valid point that, learning the fundamentals, you're not going to learn anything off of a gun that runs on a little air pistol or air cartridge. It's learning how to communicate with your team. Thought that was pretty cool to hear. So, sorry to interrupt.
No, so virtual reality. I mean, that's something I hadn't thought about. That may have progressed quite a bit. So, everybody saw a lot of that at the show, huh?
That's just great. I mean, everything is a training aid. Like can you ever beat real rounds flying over your head or at you? Or no, absolutely not. But you want to know what? The more reps you can put in, like especially that, I didn't stop in to see that system. That's just. I mean, that's amazing that the more reps you can get with your team, right? The better, so when the bullets are flying, right, you're just going on muscle memory. That stuff's phenomenal.
Definitely. So the VR, and you said that company was Operator XR was
Yeah, that's just the one that I had the time to try out. It was Friday evening, and I was looking for Ton down in the basement. Couldn't find him, and I saw those
in my
guys.
dungeon.
at his booth the whole time.
Oh,
At your booth.
There's proof that I was at my booth.
There was a lot of those VR companies, and some of them, a couple of my buddies were telling me they'd strap like tensing units onto you, so if you got shot, you'd feel the tensing unit pulsate or whatever. And Mantis, I like those guys. They had some cool VR stuff going on, but the lines around these booths were insane. So I was just kind of like checking them out, talking to the people I knew, and I'm like, that's really cool. Like, hopefully I can see more of it in the future. But I think
Virtra has a really nice VR setup too.
Who? Virtra.
Yeah, they've been around quite a while. Actually, probably one of the longest setups. And I had the pleasure of working with them probably 4 or 5 years ago. And they have blowback pistols and a whole 360 simulations where their VR system is situation awareness, everything from combat zones to mall shooting area. Yeah, see, there's proof I was in my booth. That's day one. That is day one when I wore a suit.
I was going to say, you have
Carl was very impressed with your suit, by the way.
That was day one when I wore my suit.
And day two, he had slacks and a dress shirt on again.
It's insane. Slacks and a dress shirt.
I don't think that was
Shot changed.
Show. That is SHOT Show.
Funny.
See, I was at my booth.
Something you don't see every day.
No.
All right, so going around. So Flood, the VR. Andre, would you see that blew your mind? Mind blowing.
Well, I was on an assignment there to look at 10 millimeter pistols, and saw some really nice stuff. I like 10 millimeter, and I went around and looked at what they had. So I saw some nice new 10 millimeter pistols, F&H, Springfield Armory, and then saw the typical Glocks. But that's still an underutilized caliber. I just enjoyed that. So I looked around at that. Once again, I did a lot of looking at the thermals and the optics. I missed the booth babes. Where did they go?
Booth babes?
Yeah, booth babes. Remember way back when they actually had Gulick women standing around?
It's not really a thing anymore.
I know, that's a real shame.
Aguila's the only one who does that
goblins.
Yeah.
I do miss that. But it was a lot of neat stuff to see, and hanging around a lot of these different booths was interesting. And of course, went by some of the people that treat you real good, like 511. They're good people, and have a lot of fun with them. And it was just a really good show with a lot of very positive. I only had a couple semi-negative experiences working with some of the vendors, but everything else worked out real good.
Nothing mind blowing.
No, I didn't see anything that I was like, motherfucker.
Innovative. Coop, did you see anything that made you say motherfucker?
What, like pissed me off?
No, like damn. That's awesome.
That really blew my mind.
Yeah.
Ooh, Man, not anything that like really blew my hair back, honestly.
Who collect all the gold guns?
I was gonna get.
I-
I mean, all the fucking gold guns that were there.
There was a shitload of gold guns there. That's fact. Actually, I found Black Rambo checking out one of them. Right, so Black Rambo's a Marine, no joke.
Yeah.
Right, so he's a
On
Marine.
brand.
He's a Motor T guy. So I'm like, hey,
Dude, he's been on the show.
I'm like, hey man, like, I want you to come on a hunt with me because you're a freaking Marine, dude. And he was like, all right. So I'm like, oh, let's do this. But I guess, quite honestly, blow my hair back. Like Air Force put out a big bore air rifle, 51 caliber, right? That puts out 225 grain slug at 1,250 feet per second, and over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy. And it's taken me, I really started having normal, like I met Ton probably a year ago. I really got into his brain housing group, at RMAC. And it's taken me from RMAC, so from June until now, to make his brain start to melt. And that was one of my goals in life for this year. And I already accomplished it, so I'm pretty happy.
I fucking hate you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, no, you like all these videos of all these air gunners talk about foot-pounds of energy, right? And it's like this thing's putting out well over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy.
Yeah.
It's
that in the old days, Lewis and Clark, remember that expedition? They used freaking air rifles.
Giordoni.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, that's the first.
They used those because they didn't know if they're going to be resupplied with powder and stuff. So they just brought air rifles along that shot like 50 caliber plus rounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
40, 44, 43 caliber Giordoni hand pump.
That's what they used their elephants for. Their elephants were their compressors.
Cool.
All
Well, they
right.
were.
Yeah.
Keep saying the air guns. Rob, what did you see that was?
Let's see. I saw one thing that really did like get into my science brain and impress the hell out of me conceptually. I have to see if it really works, and it sort of undermines what we talked about in the I wonder what's going to happen in the future, in 2025 of the industry. I think we all hope that Hearing Protection Act passes or NFA changes or however it happens, that suppressors become much more easily available, right? Not just because the wait times went down like they did last year, but get rid of the tax stamp and get rid of the NFA
Basically
certification.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So having had that conversation whenever we had that a couple weeks ago, we all predicted that would result in a race to the bottom. And I think that's still true. We're going to see $100 suppressors out there. But what I actually saw that probably on a technical level impressed me the most, more than anything else that wasn't NDA coming soon stuff that's actually out there, was a 7.62, but built around 300 Win Mag, originally designed for 300 Win Mag suppressor that does something a little different, looks a lot different on the inside than any 300, any major rifle suppressor, major caliber rifle suppressor I've ever seen. And what it does is it strips the vast majority of the gases from the bullet being able to influence the bullet. So it takes the gases away from the bullet in a way that's very, very different, that prevents any type of turbulence at the muzzle. And it's being brought to market by Bursa. As you guys know, Bursa has been acquiring other companies since Bursa USA really came to the forefront for them about 3 years ago. And they've added an AR line. They've started making 1911s. Neato, wow. But the cool thing that they're doing right now is they have found an engineer, kind of one of like a guy a redneck engineer who has been making some incredible suppressors for high level contracts to market. And Whisper Tech, I think that's the The name of it, they're 7.62. The 7.62, the 22, and the 9 can are all very, very different inside. They all have very different technologies. The 9 focuses on separating the solids from the gases so that you reduce combustion, and the combustion reduction is what allows it to be quieter. But the 7.62 can that avoids drag-induced yaw on the bullet from the turbulence of the burning gases was really interesting. And he dropped some names on me of people who have evaluated it and who have been using it. And some of those names I knew from long range shooting and military training sniper communities. And I was impressed. I mean, he knew the right people and he said the right things. So I'm really looking forward to putting one of those 7.62 cans on my Nemo Omen 300 Win Mag and sending rounds way out to see if it does increase consistency. So that was impressive. Learned that ASP is getting into the less lethal market in a very professional and big way, including for the civilian market, not just law enforcement market. So they're getting into chemical agents. I'm not a big fan of chemical agents. I'm pretty sensitive to them, so I don't like anybody pointing to be really educated about what they actually do and how well they do what they do. But I thought it was interesting that ASP is going into that area. And one of the things I found, one of the reasons I found out they were so serious about getting in that area is because they've teamed up with USCCA. So USCCA has now launched a whole bunch of training around less lethal. So they've teamed up with tasers, teamed up with ASP, teamed up with another company. I think Saber Red also is involved in their chemical agent stuff.
When you say ASP, is that ASP USA?
ASP, yeah, like the expandable baton. They do they actually do cuffs is probably their most popular item. I think they're well known for the expandable batons, but yeah, they've gotten into chemical agents now, so that was interesting. A lot of the stuff we've already talked about, the stuff that I thought was cool or not cool. Of course, I entertained myself by walking into booths and picking up all the 2011s and saying, so let me get this straight. You've made it so the trigger doesn't just do anything until you do this other thing, and you've moved the hammer outside the gun. That's amazing. I did that a lot.
You did that a lot.
Yeah.
Burst has a new 2011.
Oh, I made fun of that too. Don't worry. Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I did.
Nice.
I did. It probably competes with that the one you guys have been lusting over the last 2 episodes. It's all tricked out, but friendly priced.
I saw it at the Big Rock. He had it there. He had the cans there too, and I wanted to talk to him more about those cans. So we'll probably have.
Don't talk to Roth. You got to talk to Roy.
Well,
in fact,
hook me up with.
Roy left early, and I had talked to him so much about the cans that one of the shows came by to tape something about the cans, and Roy had left, so I actually gave the presentation. So I'm waiting for the report card from Roy to see if I gave the presentation properly. Crystal Dunn was there. She's like, "Are you working with Bursa?" I'm like, "No, but I know all about the cans, so just point the camera at me and let's go. Let's get it done."
That's funny.
Little friend of Bursa presentation.
Ton.
I didn't do it.
What'd you see?
Well, actually, I saw quite a few things that were pretty cool in my travels. I went over to the Ruger booth, the carbon fiber 1022. Quite impressed with it. Their Mini 14. Really enjoyed their Mini 14 they have coming out. I think they already released it. I finally got to put my hands on the Match X.
Yeah.
Liked that. The IR laser from Crimson Trace. Pretty badass. Really like that. The new clay thrower over at Caldwell, rechargeable battery, Bluetooth sync up to 12 clay throwers. Really enjoyed that. There was nothing absolutely like out of this world. There's things I enjoyed. Probably one of my most favorite stops on the whole journey through was at the Huxworks booth. There was chocolate covered espresso beans.
Ooh.
Dude, absolute lifesaver. That was an absolute lifesaver through that trip. It was really cool to see some of the people there. The Match X, I really got to put my hands on it, check it out. Medgar came out with Glock steel mags. I like those. They're really nice mags for the Glock 17 and Glock 19 steel mags.
Okay.
Really good mags. Medgar really stepped up their game with that. Kick ass. Bagara, really nice rifles. Stopped in and visited with them.
Out of Tennessee.
No, Spain. I met with a bunch of the guys from Spain.
Don't they have a thing in Franklin though?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So suck it.
Yeah, whatever. But I spent a lot of time meeting with a lot of the overseas guys. We're trying to get deals done with targets. But the show was actually not horribly disappointing. It was a pretty good show.
Not horribly disappointing.
Not horribly
High
disappointing.
praise. I think maybe you missed the highlights because you left early.
No, it was well by Thursday and Friday, it got to be it started pissing me off because I have to eat my words from the last show. And SSF did step up their game with weeding out a lot of the trash that usually comes through there. They did filter out a lot of the one follower influencers that they got rid of. I was pleasantly surprised. So I have to eat my words on that. I take everything I said about them not weeding out the shit badge chasers and the patch chasers. But what pissed me off is I wrote 4 or 5 big orders on the last 2 days, only to find out that they were using other people's badges that had already gone home. And these people gave them to little shitbag friends that were like, oh, no, I'm here for the show. I said, okay, do you have your resale license? Oh, yeah, we wrote orders that people came in.
So good. You were doing so good with the positivity, and then
Yeah. But it was
You fell for it.
yeah.
You fell for the pass badge.
They passed off, but for all intents and purposes, the show was a lot better than the years past. It did really well. I was pleasantly surprised over the last probably 5 years. The show was a lot higher quality for at least our company. It did really well. The product that came out, we didn't see a whole lot of like mind-blowing innovation, but I did see a lot higher quality product come out instead of people just throwing shit together and dropping on the table. And look what another AR. I just redid the slide on it and slapped some shit together, put a new grip on it, and know it. I'm going to sell it to you for $5,000 because everybody wants to buy a new Lego set.
Did anybody go to the basement?
But you're excited about the Match X.
Yeah.
See, this is what very incongruent.
Yeah, I know. I'm a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I was in the basement a lot. The basement was nice this year.
That's usually where all the innovation is. It's the basement.
There's good stuff. You know what? You reminded me something. Ton reminded me about something that's important to talk about, I think. And I don't know if anybody else saw it. That's why I want to bring it up. Panic brought out their first gun that is made in the U.S.
Yes.
Century is very excited about that, obviously, because if Trump goes full Trump and cuts off all imports from everything everywhere and triples the cost of everything from outside of the country, that's going to affect a company that primarily imports firearms from outside the country. So I know they're very excited, and it's a good gun. It's like the tricked out version of the MC9L that I was talking about probably last show. It's their Prime, the MC9 Prime. So it's the one with the ports and all the fancy trigger and all the slide cuts and all that stuff. But they're very excited, and I'm excited for them, for the Canik Century relationship, that they do have a handgun being made in the US now. I don't think handgun imports are going to get shut down, but that's pretty cool. So I don't know if anybody else noticed. I know one other company, an optics company, that was focusing more on stuff in the US. Anybody else see that trend, or see any traditionally import company highlight that?
UTG. Leapers has opened up their manufacturing in Michigan, and with their Integrix scope and a lot of their other products has brought a lot of manufacturing to the US, which was quite impressive, and the quality is outstanding. I was pretty surprised by that. So
Yeah.
I noticed a big trend to US manufacturing.
Did you guys notice that walking around the booths where the Chinese were, there was nobody hanging around? That's one thing I noticed. Walk by their booths, nobody was interested in the Chinese.
Nope.
It was hysterical. Whenever I'm by there, they're all standing around going, "Holy fruck!" They're being ignored.
Yeah.
And I was
Spy.
like,
No one was
yeah.
hanging around Spy Alley.
Except for Hollow Sun. Except for Hollow Sun.
Well, yeah, but
I was excited to hear about this. There is a SVD that is being made in America, in Texas. SVD clone.
oh,
I've got the site up there. Let me find it on my tabs up here so I can go to it.
Yeah, I walked by the booth. I hung out for a bit. They were talking to some guys, so I didn't get a chance to talk to them, but I did check it out. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a $4,000 price tag, but
yeah,
even the ones coming in are about that price. But some of those come with an optic. But it's Insight Armory is the name of the company. INSITE Armory, and they are starting to build the Dragunov SVD in America using all American parts, from what I understand. And it's in Texas.
Yep.
I did.
It's exciting. It's exciting to see companies doing that. I know my buddy Martin Richter has been doing some. They invited him up to Leapers up there in Michigan a few years ago, and they started doing all their CNCing and all that stuff in house. And he was like, "Look, the quality is out of this world." Because like UTG and Leapers, like back in the day, that was like fourth rate, AR, whatever, and they have stepped up their game. Like, and I mean, it's good. Yeah. It's great. Like I said, it's great to see it all come American manufacturing, and they have some quality items.
Bro, their Integrix is going to make a dent in this industry. Their quality is pretty impressive. I did come across a gun I wanted that was, I think, a little over 10 grand.
Is that all?
Yeah. It was, let me see. I think I have a picture of it. Here it is. Another proof that I think I just shared my screen. Yep. There.
Hold on. I'm on another screen here. Is this you?
See, another proof that I was in my booth.
With a gold.
Oh, a gold gun.
A gold gun.
I saw so many posts of gold guns on the grams.
That one and
frick.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're talking Rev Ton. That's Rev Ton right there.
Let's talk about this. So I'm going to do a segment with everybody. And Ton, I was going to use this picture for you. So you've got it up. I'm going to explain that picture. So Ton, explain this picture.
Damn it, wrong picture.
I had it ready anyway. So.
Oh, thanks so much. That was a wedding I officiated on Wednesday night for Lee Perryman and his wife Zoe from Pulsar, UK. I officiated a wedding at Mandalay Bay Wednesday night.
Nice.
It was awesome. He did a great job.
I dressed up.
Is it legal?
Yes, it is.
And you have a license in Las Vegas to perform marriages? You got a license for every state? Is it?
Yes, I do. And 3 countries.
And is this why you did you rent that or did you buy that suit?
That is my suit.
Is that what you got married in?
No, that is a different suit. I have now 3 suits.
You have 3 suits?
Yes, I do.
So did you have to have it tailored?
Yes, I did. I went and got that suit fitted.
I was going to say there's probably the material that they would have to have taken out of that probably could have made a whole other suit for a guy, my size.
Dick.
Yeah.
I went and got that suit custom fitted for me.
It looks good. You look good
Thank
there. You look really good there.
Yeah,
Looking
it
sharp.
wasn't too horribly uncomfortable. I got a
Did you mess up the valves?
no. I thought I did pretty good. Coop, you were there. What do you think of the ceremony?
Honestly, you did a great job. You dude, you had me prepped up for some crazy shit, man. You're like, wait till you hear the vows I wrote. I'm like, oh yes. Oh yeah, this is gonna be something crazy. But dude, it was like, I mean, how long was the ceremony? 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, about 15.
You were professional, you were loving, you were caring, right? It was like, and then it was done, and I was like, what the hell happened right here? Like I expected you to have some I don't know. Yeah, I expected something out of you that was gonna make me bust out in laughter, but dude, you did a phenomenal job. It was great.
We kept his
yeah, you did great.
Nice. Good job. So here's another picture here of Ton.
And you're not wearing your earphones that you typically have on.
Nope, I
Thing
took
that's
them
on your
off.
ears. Nice.
That's funny. Okay, so next one. Look, there's another one.
Oh god.
So slim.
Was that my picture?
No, this is you. So now, Coop, explain this because that's the dude from Yellowstone.
Damn right. So let me tell you, here's a little secret about me in case you didn't know. I don't pick out anybody that's famous for anything ever.
No, he
I don't give a
doesn't.
shit. I'm bad. I'm really, really bad about it. And Travis breaks my balls about it all the time. Ton knows. Like
Yeah.
I just don't. It mainly because I don't give a fuck, really, probably.
Mhm.
But we're waiting to go up to the sob party, and I was like, "Holy shit, was that Lloyd from Yellowstone?" And Travis looks back, he goes, "Yeah, it was." I was like, "Holy shit!" And he went running after him. I'm like, "Oh shit, I guess we're doing this." And went up to him, and Travis was like, "Hey, nice to meet you." We introduced ourselves. I'm like, "Hey, I like your work." I gave him a poker chip, told him about the Reason Outdoors and what we're doing with the Reason Outdoors. And he was like, "You got a phone?" Travis is like, "Why? You need to make a call?" He goes, "Hell no. Give them your phone." And he's like, "Let's get a picture." So we got a picture with him. I mean, you can tell that guy's a straight, cowboy.
Did you have an entourage?
I can't remember what company he was there with. He was at a booth that day and the following day. Something. I don't remember.
So you got Lloyd's number now.
What's that?
You got Lloyd's number now.
No, I don't got Lloyd's number, but he has mine. If he scans the poker chip, he's got mine, so that's cool. But Travis was like, "Hey man, that was a good one. You don't ever recognize anyone, and you recognized him." So I was like, I saw him walking. I was like, "Shit, that looks like freaking Lloyd from Yellowstone right there." Just walks like a cowboy. He is a cowboy, So
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Awesome. All right, next one, Rob. Picture.
Okay, so I wasn't exactly busy the whole time.
Yeah. Trying to call me out. You're over there playing.
Looks like a super
Mhm.
the most serious game of cornhole I've ever seen.
In the beer
was
garden.
Yeah, in the beer garden. The mistake I made was challenging a young guy from the Midwest to beanbag toss. Like I did take him to the third game, but in the third game he trounced me. So yeah, that's David. David works for Personal Defense Network. He's one of the guys that helps. No, I say beanbag toss.
No, it's
some
cornhole.
people don't say moist. I stick with beanbag toss. Anyway, I lost.
You got smoked.
But I did take. I appreciate Daniel Defense putting the bags out there and giving people something to do. Interestingly, I made that, crossing on the bridge there, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a day. I literally never saw anyone else throwing the beanbags. So I don't know. They need to put some prizes or swag or have somebody running it. They need like a barker, like, come on, let's go throw some bags. Get people out there engaged a little bit.
Well, maybe you could put up some swag for the next one for the.
It may be. You may see Avidity Arms beanbag toss bags next time.
Yeah, and I can see you after you've played that wanting to improve and enhance the game somehow. Did you see any room for improvement on how you could make the game even better?
The game in general, or like that? Yeah. I think we
like
could have blockers.
The bags, or redesigning the boards, or
no. I think what I would like to see, those the boards weren't great, the bags weren't great, like technically speaking, but the game itself would be better. Other end.
All right, we're losing Rob.
Board, then the other team gets a point or something. Man,
you in and out there. All right, next one. Wait, that's Ton again.
Oh, damn.
There's Ton. Explain this. No, you already explained that. Wait, I got another one. Hold on.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. So, Paul Markle was supposed to have joined us, and he had this on his Instagram page. Must be one of the popular stickers that were being handed out at SHOT Show. All right, Andre, you're up. Andre's got a little arm candy there. Is this your next ex-wife?
I wish. That is Gaston Glock's widow. That's Catherine Glock. And yeah.
That's not his.
She put him in the ground. And so I'm like, hey, sweetheart. So I was telling people at Glock, next year it's not going to be Glock, it's going to be DeLoe Glock. And they looked at me and they didn't know if I was serious or not. They're like scared shitless. I said, yeah, you guys can maybe keep your jobs, maybe. But yeah, she was a sweetheart. Me and her got along just fine. And I'm in the market, she's in the market, so you never know.
There you go.
But she was she's taller than me, and I'm 6'1"ish. She's skinny. That's one thing you don't see these days anymore is skinny women. That's an oxymoron now. But she's a skinny Austrian woman, and well, you could see her in an SS uniform real easy, but that's beside the point. But sorry, Rob. But
holy shit.
But she was a sweetheart, and I had a great time. But it scared the hell out of the guys at Glock. No, Andre, you can't do that. No, I was like, no, really, most you can keep your jobs, maybe. So yeah, they were sweating it. They were worried for a little bit there.
Oh,
the longer I stayed talking to her, the worse the word they got. But she was really nice. I kind of was worried about the trajectory Glock was taking now that she's in charge, because before Gaston died, he put her as chairman of the board. So she's actually running the company. So she's the HMFIC of Glock. So yeah.
Next time you talk to her, ask her if she wants a skinny pistol to carry around, because I've got one for her if she's interested.
How about some employees with a personality?
Well, yeah. Well, you got to be careful, because most of the employees of Glock now are Marines. So sorry, Coop, but that's true. There's was one of the vice presidents of VP left to go to Colt.
Did Josh leave?
Yeah, Josh left. He's actually at Colt this year at the SHOT Show.
Yeah, almost all the old Glock employees are gone. Now you go up to Glock and they're too good to talk to you because they wear a Glock shirt.
Is Corey?
Yeah. I really can't go into deep that, but there's an attitude there that I cannot explain.
Yeah,
it's just real strange, and they bring in everything in house. They're not going out to the industry. They used to share a lot of information, a lot of working with contributors and making sure that they know what's going on. But they've really closed up, and to where it's really hard to get information. I'm lucky if I go to SHOT Show and see what the latest stuff is. And they used to bring me up there and show me pistols 6 months before they brought them out, just so we could get ready and talk about them.
Yeah, same here.
Want to know how to hurt your brand? Do a trade show and be Glock, because all they do is shit on every person that walks up to their booth. They just don't give two shits. They will look at you, look down their nose. You ask a legitimate question, they look at you like you're a fucking idiot. They're like, dude, it's not even worth going to their booth. I'm like, yep. Good to know.
I kind of
And-
like.
One for you. Sorry, buddy.
Mhm.
I don't have a picture for you, Fletty. You didn't post anything. What are you gonna say, Coop?
I posted lots.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
No.
I was gonna ask Andre if he started his conversation with her like right out like Dumb and Dumber. Nice accent, New Jersey, Austria. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. Yeah. But
I just walked up here and said, "Ach de Lieber, Fräulein, what's up?"
right.
Oh, I actually gave her a pack of cigarettes and wanted to drag her in the back, but she said she didn't do that anymore.
Damn it.
All right, we're gonna change the subject.
Thank you.
Listener questions. Let's go to listener questions. And thanks to Evan for posting this because I forgot. Pew Pew RN, what was the best after party this year? We went to the after parties. Anyone?
I did. Went to a
All right.
couple.
Went to a couple. It was
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
I went to a couple, but I don't know that they would be called the best in terms of shot show. I had a good time. Went to USCCA's gathering. Went PDN throws a little gathering. I threw a little thing for our instructors, and OSD Open Source Defense had a little rendezvous that was the furthest I've probably gone from the convention center for a party in about 10 years. So I Ubered out there to hang out with those guys. Good parties, but they were pretty much low key. They were not anything big extravaganzas.
There was no big cryptic party, or Glock didn't throw their big.
There was a cry party. Glock hasn't thrown a real party for 20 years, but
Yeah, they stopped doing that for some reason.
About 6 years.
yeah. But no, they used to do a really. I mean, you had to like wear a suit. Like they used to do a real big high end party with ice sculptures and shit back in the good days.
Andre-
Well,
Get invited?
they had a separate room off to the side. There was a mood room, and you go in there and get ice cream. Just a separate room off the Glock party
That's crazy.
where you go
Yeah,
and get
Fry had
ice
their
cream.
party.
And
I
they just
didn't
had a
go,
bunch
though.
of easy chairs. Yeah, and that was probably the best party of the show back then.
Flood, which one did you go to?
So, as these guys are saying, there's a ton of different parties, and you kind of just got to pick and choose, as well as if you're invited. So, one of them that I went to on Tuesday night was the Agency Arms event. That was really cool. There was a lot of booths set up with some pretty cool guns to shoot, which was much more enjoyable than the industry range day. It was more or less they were wanting you to just show up and burn through their ammo, which was fun. Shot the Gen 12 again. It was always a fun shotgun to shoot in full auto. But they also do like the helicopter comes in with the minigun. They shoot a bunch of tracers, blow up a bunch of shit. And it's always fun to watch all that money get wasted at our expense. And I enjoyed that as well as tacos. And then the next one I went to was the Silencer Shop after party at one of the clubs in the Venetian, and they did have a big ice sculpture there that people were doing shots off of. Not me. I'm not good on the shots.
No.
I'll have a few mixed drinks, but that's it. But that was always fun. And afterwards,
Some kind of party? Didn't they sponsor some kind of party?
I'm sorry.
Didn't Huxworks sponsor some kind of party?
So they did actually a show with Glock. So they sponsored a big concert out of the Caesars Forum on the outside pavilion area, and Boston Uncle Cracker. But it was Tuesday night, and so I was at the Agency Arms event because I wanted to see shit blown up, opposed to going to a concert. But yeah, supposedly that was a really good turnout from what my lovely fiance told me at that show. Yeah, and then I don't think I went. Friday night I went to a machine gun shoot out in the desert. And that was really cool. The boys from MK3 Firearms and Weapon Genetics and Clayco 47 were there, and they did like these UV lights, and all of the targets had UV paint on them. They were way up the hillside, and that was really cool. Kind of a special event where it was just more or less mag dumping into these targets, but it was a lot of fun, and had some food out there and campfire, and yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it. So I couldn't tell you which one was the best. I think the agency arms was always pretty fun with the helicopter. It's not often I get to see something like that happen. So in my opinion, that was the best. But I did hear a lot of really good things about the Cry Party, which I did not go to.
So Marco sent me this. I asked Marco what was the coolest thing that he saw. And apparently there is a VSS Vitores that is going to be made in the USA also. So that's pretty exciting news. The Firearms blog, James Reeves has he's got a video on it where he's talking more detail about it. But as far as what people have told me about and shown, this is one that I'm really excited about. So I'm going to try to get these guys on the show. It's BSD Fabworks unveils their VSS Vitores. Is that how you say that? Wish we had Marco on here. He'd correct me in a heartbeat.
Good.
But it's going to be in a 300 blackout.
Oh God, another blackout.
300 blackout. So if you're not familiar with the VSS, it's an integrally suppressed AK style firearm. So that's pretty cool.
That's about as impressive as another Glock clone.
No, it's not, because you don't see
What
Yeah,
they need to do is make the
Okay, so this
make
is
the underwater AK. Have you ever seen the underwater AK?
underwater AK.
Yes, they had the magazine is about 10 inches long, and instead of using 7.6 or 39, they use the same kind of cartridge, but use a dart instead, and the dart's about 6 inches long. So it shoots 6-inch long darts out of an AK for underwater divers.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is new? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it's uncommon, but they're naval Spetsnaz guys use that stuff.
I'll have to look that one up. Giddy up. I want more Secret Squirrel, but seriously, what is the most interesting thing you saw that didn't make an interview? So we kind of really talked about that. Mustang Perry, what
we haven't talked about is the Magpul Ruger mashup. Did anybody actually shoot it out at range day? Okay, guess not.
Well, it's the only two guys that went right there, and they didn't say anything about it. So
I took it apart and looked at it, and I talked to some of the higher ups at Ruger about whether or not they might release just the chassis, particularly to the private gun making community, and kind of like extend an olive branch and say, yeah, we'd love for you guys to design cool stuff with 3D printers around our chassis. But they said because of the relationship with Magpul and the interest in selling that plastic that Magpul's making with their chassis, it would not happen soon. And they also mentioned the gun's cheap enough, just buy it, take the chassis out if you want to do some design work around it. But I looked at it, it's a much bigger chassis than I was expecting. It links up very much like the FCU from SIG. It kind of wedges into the back, drops down, one big pin goes through. But I was expecting it to be a little lighter weight and not as overbuilt, I guess, as it is. But I was really interested in it, and especially if they were going to sell it separately. Now I'm less interested in it because they're not going to sell it separately.
Yeah.
Did any of you stop by the Arkin booth and look at the Arkin Outlier booth and look at the action, the bolt gun they had there? So it's like what they were calling, I guess, a mini action, but it was a bolt gun, had a barrel extension, right? And then the bolt. But when I say that, if you took a regular bolt action, like just the action, you cut the whole front of it off. So it's just that rear, like, lug piece, so to speak, right where the freaking bolt is. It was that in the bolt, and then that's what goes in the action, and then it goes to the barrel extension and all that. And their whole premise on it is that quick barrel changes to switch calibers and stuff like that. First time
was it changeable bolt face? Was the bolt face interchangeable too?
What's the name of the company?
Outlier. Arkin bought out Outlier. Pretty sure, I'm about very confident of that. But they're all on the same booth right there.
The Archon
What's
pistol?
that?
The Archon pistol.
Arken. Arken, like the scope. Arken. I don't know how you want to properly like explain it because I have a video of it that I took.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it so I can pull a picture up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's like multiple barrels on one bolt face, or does it have an interchangeable bolt face as well, like the like the Blaser system?
Yeah. I know what you're talking. No, so multiple barrels on one bolt face is what that was, not like the Blaser.
That's an optics company.
Yeah, they bought Outlier, I guess, is the rifle side of the house.
Right. Yeah. So I asked them, I was like, great concept, obviously. I was like, hey, how many rounds do you have through it? And so far they've got a few hundred. They said should be hitting the market early this summer. If the rest of the testing goes well. I just first time I've seen something like that myself. But
okay, interesting.
I have the video, and the video's not like amazing.
What was everyone's favorite thing they saw? We talked about that. What about bags or kit gear? Anybody see anything?
Mission First has a larger version of their backpack that I liked.
I have that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got the small one that was my carry-around bag. Now they've got the bigger one that would be a nice short 3-day trip kind of bag.
I gotta say,
not new.
SHOT Show is turning into a pet show. There was more dogs there this year than I've ever seen before.
Really? Yeah, the dogs with goggles thing is just retarded.
It's getting out of hand. Everybody brings their every pet there possible, and every dog's a service dog. I mean, dude, it's getting a little out of hand with bring your dog to SHOT Show day. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
It's fatty tactical with your dog. Okay, we got it. You picked up a German Shepherd and you outfitted him with a service dog vest. We got it. You're almost cool today. Let it go, bro. Just fucking let it go.
So I'm looking at a video. Did you post this on your social media?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I just sent it to you. I didn't post on my social media because it was a crappy video. We're about to give a plaque to the owner of Arken for for sponsoring us, and right before it came up, so I didn't really get into it. So
it's not a bad video. Music, put a little background music to it. It'll be fine. Post it up.
Roger that.
All right. B Hurst, I think. No. So he's asking about what's new in the AK world. We showed you a couple of things there: U.S. made VSS and a U.S. made SVD. He says the Fostech 50 bullpup. Did you see it? And the drum. Did anybody go by and see the Fostech bullpup?
Oh, he's talking about he's talking about that same 50 cal drum we saw at GOA.
Yeah, that was at Goals last year.
Yeah, I think he released it at SHOT last year, but definitely a cool concept. I don't know if he's referring to a bullpup 50. I don't remember seeing that. I know Fostech had a gold-plated 50 Barrett, though, like every other booth. It was really cool to see, though. I mean, obviously the craftsmanship behind that gold plating is phenomenal, but they had the drum, and then they did have some sort of shotgun that they are releasing, and I did talk to them, and they want to kind of get on the show and talk more about it. So hopefully we'll be able to hear more about that in the future.
I find them on Instagram, but they did make a post of some big ass bullpup that they had. So,
are you guys familiar with the Hydra interchangeable barrel, interchangeable magwell ARs that have been around for a number of years?
We'll buy them and talk to them because they got the new 50 or millimeter.
They've been around forever. And they've never really gotten over the hump of being a company that has a really cool idea that I've literally never seen on a range or a gun shop. But they seem to, based on some of their alliances this year, I think we may see more of those in gun shops coming soon from some conversations I had with them and their collaborators. So it's a really neat system. and it's always been fairly priced. But like I said, it's been around forever and just never kind of made the jump. So be looking for that. It's different because it lets you change the mag well, so you can go from like a 7.62 feet using AK mags to an AR using AR mags, as well as the interchangeable fore-end and gas system.
Yeah,
they had a 10 millimeter PCC this year that uses Glock mags, and it was real impressive because it really gets a chance to exercise the real potential of the 10 millimeter because you got a longer barrel, and it was nice. And I was trying to get them to respond because they didn't have any spec sheet, they didn't have any photos, and so I was writing an article about 10 millimeter weapons, and they got back to me like nothing. So I didn't even include them because they couldn't.
They didn't get back to you?
No,
that's how they've always been. It's always been very hard to figure out like if they're a real company or just like people that like showing off their own personal collection of interchangeable guns. But like I said, I think some of their new collaborations may actually get them to the market for real, which is interesting.
Well, if you want a 10 millimeter PCC, their one is extremely nice, especially if you got Glock 10 millimeters. You can slap in those mags all day long and it worked just fine.
Yeah. All right, next question. Oh, and we're giving away a swag pack today. Flood, you want to talk about the swag?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of crap that I collected. So one of the things, this is only my third shot, and before I got into shot, I was always like, man, all this cool shit that people get. And now I'm way past that point after my first year, as Marty knows. So I wanted to make sure that the guys who don't get to go to shot get a part of that. So I actually have 2 of them that full of shirts, hats, patches, stickers.
Hold some shit up.
Optic tools.
Hold it up.
I really okay. I mean, it's all in another room, but here's some cool little optic tools that'll be in it. Beanies, posters.
Next question. Run, get it so we can show.
Yeah. All right.
Chocolate covered espresso beans. Those are the best. Oh, I did get a visit every day.
I've got 2 AA batteries left over that I'll throw in.
2 AA batteries.
Yeah. NSSF security came by my booth every day to make sure my stickers weren't reactive or explosive.
Your stickers?
My stickers.
You got to be shitting.
Nice.
Nope. They came by every day, and it was quite amusing. Like every day they came by like they were top secret, and they grabbed a sticker every day just to make sure that I didn't have anything that would detonate or blow up. They were just doing their job.
Did you say, pull my finger?
I asked him if he was bored.
You're muted.
All right. Seal 1 stickers, some Ear Pro, shit from Range Day.
Nice.
Beanies, hats, or shirts, hats. You know, just the
you're like
popular Aguila chapstick.
Dude, that's gold there. It
really is.
And that
chains, just a bunch of stuff, that I don't care for, and
slap koozie.
Somebody would want them. This is probably the best thing that they're going to get, though.
Yeah.
Couple patches. I mean, it's full. I've got 2 of them, so happy to ship them out to whoever you guys choose. So
I'm going to read a couple more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up here. So, read that one. Tongue for twisting. I see over time every company puts time in power and recoil reduction. Which company would you say achieved the goal this year?
So I'm kind of biased, but one of the companies that I'm familiar with is Sholo Manufacturing. So they did the Blackjack. It's that little 9mm PCC. It's a detent delay. With that detent delay, they've definitely reduced recoil quite a bit. Not that a 9mm PCC has much recoil to begin with, but when you look at like direct blowback, there's quite a bit more. And so those guys are actually doing some really cool stuff. And I've been working with them recently, so I'm very familiar with the product, and they have been doing a fantastic job at reducing that recoil. So that's one of the things that I'm partial to. But when it comes to like ARs and AKs, I couldn't speak too much to that. Maybe these other guys can.
Well, I think they were just talking about anything. So
Yeah. Thought I had a
Nobody-
picture of the gold AK or the gold AUG. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that,
Ooh,
but I'm sure you guys saw there was like at every single booth
had a
there was
gold
a
gun.
gold gun.
Shit, it did.
Yep.
What was it? Iron Monkey, I think, was the guys who were doing all of those gold plating. Pretty cool.
Is
The
there
Sarah-
a gold PD10 in the future?
No, I got it. We have the black tie edition, the two-tone black and silver stainless slide, but no, I don't see any gold ones. I mean, maybe Ton. I could see Ton rocking one, but he has to take one out of his own collection.
In his suit? In his passenger
Dude,
suit?
In his
I
suit,
will
that's
do
right.
that.
No, I think the recoil reduction standouts for me would be, the FK Brno brought the PSD compact to market, and it's amazing when you talk about power to recoil control ratio. You're not going to find anything more impressive than what they do with that 7.5 FK round out of a handgun, and the compact shoots really. It actually shoots big guns because it doesn't have the extra weight hanging out in front. Still snappy, obviously, firing around 4-inch barrels going to your as far as the wheel management. The new PSDC is pretty cool. And now they have an American company, Tascosa, down in Texas, where everything we talk about apparently is tied to. They're now loading the ammo in the US, so that ammo just got cheaper. And the aforementioned Prime from Canic has a truly integral compensator. So it's not just ports coming out of the front of the gun, but the front of the barrel, that last half inch, has no rifling. It's actually bored out and acts as a true integrated compensator, which most of the ported guns do not. So that should have a positive effect on recoil as well. Again, not that you necessarily need it with a 4-inch barrel 9mm, but an extra couple hundredths off your splits.
Come out and play. How absolutely terrifying were the new LE drums? Did anybody go over to the LE section?
Oh yeah,
Check out drones.
they got all kinds of shit. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
It's
I have friends
terrifying.
at FLIR, so the little death wasps that they put out for the military are definitely creepy. And everything I've seen or know about, I'm sure there are things that are thousands of times creepier that might be in my room right now.
Oh yeah, that's the LE section was sometimes you just don't want to know.
Bonafide breed. What is something you would want to see at future SHOT shows? What's something that's
Oh,
SHOT
Ton,
show-
please tell us, Ton.
I was going to say a foot massage station.
Less convention goblins.
Yeah. The Tuesday morning rush. Do you have any patches? Do you have any patches? Do you have any patches? Do you want to buy anything? No, I just want patches. I'll go away.
Yeah, there's no patches from Firebird in here.
What do you
No.
want to see? Say what you
I
don't
want to see more. The beer garden is a nice addition. I think more areas for people to spend time outside of the booth where they're not in the aisle, getting in the way of people who have meetings and need to move around. Like more of these little areas. The European version of SHOT Show, the EVA show, does
Oh
a
my
really good
God.
job at that. And
Yes.
I think the beer garden, that's what they're trying to emulate at SHOT. They need more space for people that are attending the show to do real conversations, probably very important business conversations that aren't always easy to do in a booth and really need to stop happening in the aisles.
I will definitely second that because at
Yeah,
Iowa, it's
I
nice.
think that's a good idea.
You can go to the pavilion, and every section has a little pavilion where you can go and sit down at a table and get something to drink and actually have a real business conversation. So it's not just clogging up the aisles. Iowa did it really well. And if SHOT actually put a little more thought into it instead of just throwing, okay, here's one cafeteria here, or here's a little beverage stand here, and here's a beer garden in between, and actually had a pavilion area where people can go sit down and have a table and a real conversation. It would be a lot more effective.
Yeah. And they did
Well, I
it
tell you,
during the
last couple
COVID
days
shot.
there-
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Last couple of days I was there, I was walking down the aisles, and I was actually debating whether to just keep walking and plow into these two people standing there talking in the aisle, or try to walk around them. I mean, I was seriously considering, like, well, let me just put a shoulder down and just push them aside, because they didn't want to break stride. But yeah, that's just ridiculous. I'm tired of seeing that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, when I'm really annoyed towards the end of the day, I will literally stop and go, "Hey, how much did you guys pay for this space? Because I didn't know this was available for a meeting room. This is great, right here in the intersection. This is awesome. This is smart."
Yeah, that's annoying. That really is a fucking annoying thing.
All right, so here's the question. We're going to wrap it up with this question, and be honest and think about this, Ton. How many jack wagons did Ton find at SHOT Show this year? Is it more or less than last year? So, I mean, just actual true to form jack wagons. How many?
Actually, it's a lot less than last year. Holy crap.
Yeah. But give me a number. You don't have to
You
tell
can't
me.
wait.
A 5, probably a good solid 5.
Nice. That's what I put the over under at. I said 5 is the over under. So I know.
It was a good 5 that I can call right off the top of my head.
What's like the number one? Well, let's talk one jack wagon.
The security guard, the mall cop with his dog, and every bit of free kit that still had the tags on it, that kept checking my booth to see if my stickers and my pens were detonating devices, because that fucker was so bored and so low rent, just cut welfare and put his little fucking paper badge on to come check my booth to see if my fucking stickers were explosive.
I love it.
Oh Lord.
Not that I'm bent on that.
No, it doesn't show.
Just checking. I held back.
Subtle, very subtle.
Thank you. I've been working on it.
It's a
All right.
process.
Pick a number between 1 and 37. Coop,
25.
you would pick 25.
I don't know. It's just what came to my mind right then. I was thinking about jack wagons, not numbers.
Look, while I'm counting, what was your jack wagon?
Dude, honestly, Envision. Envision. And you know what? Like, seriously, these dudes called me like 8 months ago, and they're like, "Oh, we want you to pro staff for us." And I was like, "Okay, are you gonna give me a thermal?" And they're like, "No, we're not gonna give you a thermal. You'll still got to pay $6,000. We'll give you $2,000 off. Don't tell anybody." I'm like, "Well, here's how this goes, bud. Right? Like, one post a week for an entire year. That could be 1 hour of work or 48 hours of work. Depends on what's moving on what night." Right. I charged $100 an hour consultation fee just because that's kind of the mood I was in, because of his attitude. Right. And I was like, quick math tells me you need to give me a thermal and probably pay me $10,000 for the year to do content for you. Right. Because content is currency. Right. I mean, give me the moral story. Give me a free thermal if you're wanting me to do content for you and all this other stuff. Well, I go to the Envision booth and I walk in there and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" I was like, "Hey, I just want to see what you got new gear this year." Not a big booth. And he's like, "Oh, we got this clip-on thermal." Or I was like, "All right, cool. Let me check it out." He's like, "Hey, don't worry about the glitches on the bottom of the screen. It's a software issue." So I'm like, "Okay, so you're hustling this clip-on thermal, right? And it's got a software issue and it's got glitches on the bottom of the screen. Maybe you want to fucking fix that before SHOT Show, right?" But I looked through it anyways. And the guy walks away from me. And they're all of them, all the booth workers, all the little minions are in there talking in a little huddle. And I see one guy, I think his name was like Timothy or something, like, "Hey, are you the guy that talked to me on the phone about pro staffing a few months ago?" He's like, "No, that wasn't me. That was probably him." Points to his buddy. And I was like, "Did you talk to me? I'm Coop, Hunting Carolina as well." He's like, "No, it wasn't me." Turns around and that's it. They're all talking to each other, not talking to me. So I was like, "Oh, that's it? All right, fuck you." And I just walked out of the booth, right? And what's going on here? Number one, Envision, I got news flash. You guys haven't done anything spectacular in 5 or 6 years. You're overpriced, and your stuff doesn't do anything. Like, you're not even companies half your high horse, right? Be a little bit humble, right? I hunt 2, 3 more times a week, a lot of weeks. I'm a professional hunter. Stop monkeying around with the con goblins and all these people who think that they're someone, right? And freaking actually talk to the people who are in the field doing the thing. Anyways, ran over. That's my jack wagon. That was even going to be a jack wagon.
Ton just got outdone.
That's my boy.
They weren't even going to be my jack wagon when I started this show. But
I'm so
you know
proud
what?
of him.
Dude, thanks, buddy. I mean, that was a very ton-like rant.
That's my boy right there.
Ton-like rant.
That's my boy.
I mean, Jiminy Christmas.
Anybody else got any jack they want to call out? Nobody's going down. What about heroes? What about somebody who just absolutely deserves some recognition that's not getting their due share? We lost Rob. His internet was
went down.
His internet was jacking up. It's 11. They got to go to bed. Andre's probably asleep. Are you asleep? Hero, Andre. You got
what?
I'm gonna call out a cliche hero for me, my fiance Cara, for absolutely slaying it in that booth. So it was her last year setting up for the Huxworks SHOT Show booth. She's been promoted from that position, and she slayed it. Their booth
was she in charge of sending out the invitations to the
no
the little beer drinky thing?
No, that was their media.
I got mine today, by the way.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, snail mail these days. Anyway, she absolutely slayed it. That booth was rocking from Tuesday to Friday, and it was like shoulder to shoulder. They were doing some cool giveaways. They had the beer garden, they had coffee, they had everything, and everybody who had a single question came to her for it. And so I got to give her props because I know it's a lot of work, and she was absolutely exhausted after all of it. And just got to hand it to her. So she's my hero.
She killed it.
Yeah,
she really killed it.
I hooked her up with an ecotherapy T-shirt. And I'm
nice.
super happy that they're gonna hook up the Recent Outdoors this year. Like she is, so. I second your vote, dude, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, Cara's awesome. A rock star.
Yep.
I got my ecotherapy T-shirt. Thank you, Coop. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Tommy even got his.
Yes,
and it fits.
Next episode, wear them. We'll all wear them next episode. All right, winner. So that was would you say what number? 25? Dustin 25. Brady. You are the winner of one of the swag packs from Lefty from the SHOT Show swag. So email me talkinglet@gmail.com. Gonna need your address, and you're just gonna get whatever shirt size he got. So there's no picking shirt size if you get a shirt.
A couple XLs, couple double XLs, just make it fit.
Andre, pick another number, or if you're on Instagram, you can go through and just pick somebody that you want to win.
4.
That a boy.
Number 4.
That would be. Looks like not me. Don't count me. So 1, 2, 3, 4. PURN. PURN. That's your good buddy Eric. You have won the other swag.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Longtime lead head. He's always participating. So I think he will definitely appreciate that swag. So email talkinglet@gmail.com, and I'll forward all your info to Lefty there, and he'll get you those awesome swag bags. So thank you for doing that, Lefty, and appreciate you you going and representing the Leadhead Brigade.
Absolutely.
No, we sent Bill too, but Bill, he goes into his own world. So
I saw him a few times.
Bill's going to lose his past. So I think next year we're going to send another 1 or 2 lead heads to go.
Let's do it.
To
get join in the crowd, spreading the good word.
Yeah. I think
we need talking lead swag to hand out. It's the currency these days.
Well, somebody's going to have to sponsor me to go there. And we'll have,
Some talking lead poker chips would freaking, people like them suckers.
you like poker
Yeah.
chips? You think that'd be the way to go? I like to give out mags. I like to do magazines, and I don't have one handy right now, or do I? Yeah.
Mags are good.
So these are the
Poker chips are
ones I'm gonna
good. Patches.
this year for my business card and hand out.
Nice.
Andre, you want one of those? I'll send you one.
It's a solid
yeah,
business
sure.
card.
Coop, everybody want one? I'll send
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, count me in.
Yep.
I'll send you guys one of those. So if any of you lead heads want these, just email me, talkinglead@gmail.com, or PM me on the grams, and I'll tell you what you got to do to get one of those. We've got clear ones also with that logo. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to do with Mission First Tactical. And as you've seen, I've been wearing this the entire episode, and we've talked about it on previous episodes, but this is their chest rig setup.
Yep.
For your people. And it's just like their what's the bag?
It's like the chest harness.
Yeah, their
Similar
chest.
to the acro bags, but
Yeah,
yeah,
this
the
is-
cool thing about that chest harness is that you can use like multiple holsters. Like obviously it works best with the Mission First Tactical holsters, but if you had something different, you'd be able to attach it because it's got all sorts of like multi-point attachment. Yeah.
it's got all the different
Cool. Set up.
your major holster companies. So you could attach your favorite holster on there and have you a nice little chest rig here. They sell them on their website. You can use the code LEADHEAD and get 20% off. I think I'm going to leave that off. I'll just leave it on. And then Seal One has some new products.
Oh, dude, they got a new suppressor cleaner. It's pretty legit. He was telling me all about it.
Yeah, so he sent me an email here. So according to Dwight, shot started really good. It almost felt like pre-COVID. The next 2 days slowed. Overall, I felt it was a positive, though. So that's Dwight's take on it. And our code is still good, and that is Leadhead. You use Leadhead at Seal One, and if you got cans, you need to try out their new can cleaner, and you can get that 25% off. It's Leadhead. You get 25% off Seal One, any of their products there. So make sure you go and support them.
So, it was really interesting about that can cleaner. He was telling me that I was asking him about it. I'm like, well, what about a can that you can't take apart? How do you get that in there? And he was saying you just, shove a bunch of the material in and kind of swab it around with a like a long Q-tip, and then you shoot it. You shoot the gun. And then he was saying that the heat and the force and the gases will kind of coat the can with that material he's got. And he said it's best to use it right before you start shooting because it'll help reduce the carbon buildup. I thought that was pretty interesting, which is very similar to his gun cleaning products.
Did they have a new delivery system for their product too?
You mean like packaging or?
No, like delivery. Like they got the paste,
Oh, like an aerosol can or
the
I think
aerosol.
there's like a new spray. I was so enamored with the suppressor cleaner. I wasn't listening to much else. Well, that's really cool, man.
White on to talk about that in an upcoming
Yeah.
episode. So stay tuned for that.
On.
All the deets from him. But make sure you go and show Mission First Tactical and Seal One some love. Use those codes. And Firebird targets.
TL15.
TL15. Did you guys have any targets at range day set up? Anybody shooting your target?
No,
They don't
ever
allow
since-
that.
ever since another company set fire to the field, they do not allow us there.
That's right.
And even security thinks our stickers will start fires.
Apparently.
God. Patty Tactical should take a break from getting all the free shit and read a book.
So check out Firebird targets. They got the new signal markers, so you guys can do all the different colors of explosions at your range day event, making range day fun again. Firebird targets. TL15, get 15% off anything there at Firebird. You guys got any swag yet?
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
giving
they gave it all
away
away at the dot.
stickers. We gave away patches. We gave away
I mean,
pin.
on your website, do you sell like
No.
shirts and
No, you got to go to an event to get it.
I got one of these hats back there. Pretty cool.
Yep.
I like the hats. Coop, tell me about what you guys got coming up at the Reason Outdoors.
So for the Reason Outdoors this weekend, we've got the Onslow Predator Challenge, the number one Predator Challenge in North Carolina. We've got 2 teams for the Reason Outdoors hunting it, and 2 teams for Hunting Carolinas. The Reason Outdoors, those guys, we've got Tyler Vargas coming down. He's a single amputee on the leg, and also amputee. He's missing his left leg, right arm, blown up at Abbey Gate during the pullout. And on his team, my buddy Sean and my other buddy John and Matt Bolin out there. And the other team, we've got this guy Cody, can be guide, and father-son team, and another buddy of mine who's a Marine gunner. That's the big event. I mean, that's going to be a weekend of all thermal hunting, and combined weight of your top 5 dogs wins. And there's a whole ton of side pots. There's a ton of sponsors. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of stuff on the prize table. Then we've got a hunt lined up here in a couple weeks. That's going to be a hog and coyote hunt at a local hunting club here. And then after that, hopefully we should have another iguana hunt scheduled, and a couple more hog and coyote hunts to finish off the winter. So we've got a pretty good schedule lined up.
Busy, and they can go to thereasonoutdoors.org.
Yep. Thereasonoutdoors.org.
Donate. Go there.
Yeah, donate. We're gonna be on the lookout, because here in about another week we're gonna have a giveaway. Number 1 package is going to be free testing and TRT and all supplements with Atlantic TRT. And then second place is probably going to be a custom made Glock. Third place, hopefully, when I talk to Evan's fiance, hopefully it'll be a Hux can, and then a couple other things as well. So hopefully looking to get that lined up here in the next week or two. And we're going to have some really good giveaways coming up. So
sounds like it. It's going to be awesome. Andre, you guys, you got any articles or blogs? Or
yeah, I'm working a lot now with Meprolite, doing a lot of product reviews for them. They're coming out with some really outstanding optical scopes, and I'm trying to talk them into getting the thermal business, because we know that's where it's headed. So working with them a lot, working with Gunbroker, with Shirley and Paul Rackley at Gunbroker, and getting a bunch of articles for them, plus with Athlon, with Linus, and also Hook and Barrel magazine. I'm getting to something that Coop would get into, both little boating and hunting at the same time.
Cool.
So that should be interesting. So staying busier than I want to be, because I really like to be retired.
I think you guys should probably hook up. And maybe you could do an article or something on the reason. Go on one of those.
I love his hunting venues, because it sounds really fun. And anybody that hasn't done that kind of hunting is missing out on a huge amount of fun. I mean, that's just a hoot. And people shouldn't be scared to go do it, because, oh no, I'm not good enough to do that. It's like, no, just come along, and you'll be brought along. They'll help you out.
Oh yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
We went 11 hours that one night. It was crazy. It was.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even realize. I looked down. I was like, holy shit, we've been at this 11 hours. This is awesome. Blood, what do you got? You got anything coming up? Any reviews that people need to be on the lookout for?
Not necessarily, no. Just going to be reaching out to all the companies that I met up with at SHOT here shortly, kind of give them a week before I inundate their inboxes. Just trying to work more angles with media management. And I've been working on my website to kind of start doing a little bit of articles and blogs. I'm not the best writer, but I've been working on that to try and broaden my.
You take a great photo, buddy.
Thank you. I don't know about writing. We'll see. Yeah. And just been working hard, man, having fun and doing the thing, trying to help you out, I will be getting married here shortly by a man just right above me here. This guy right there will be officiating my wedding, and I'm looking forward to that. So we spoke a ton during the show, and he, agreed. We had to give him a lot of coffee. What were those things? Chocolate covered
espresso beans.
But yeah, extremely excited about that.
Definitely going to be a videoed wedding. Video that start to finish. That's going to be awesome.
Heck yeah.
So that is all.
There you go. And coming up on the show here, I'm putting together, and I was talking to Coop about this and a couple other people. I want to put together a show to help better understand and explain the servicemen and women that were either fired or discharged or, whatever happened for not getting the Wuhan shot. And Trump is supposed to be letting everybody come back and, letting them re-enlist and, how that's going to work. So I want to get some people that actually happened to on the show and get their perspective and their point of view, good, bad, indifferent, whatever it may be. But I want to understand it more myself. So I think you listeners would probably want to hear that show too, and maybe get a firsthand perspective on that, on what's going on. So should be a good show, I think. But yeah, that's it. So thanks to everybody for being on. Appreciate you guys sharing your SHOT Show experiences and knowledge with the Leadhead Brigade here. I know they appreciate it. And I know that we'll have every one of you back again later on throughout the year. If you've got questions, comments about the shows, maybe a guest, maybe a topic you want us to talk about, email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. And I always love getting emails from you leadheads and messages on the grams. I appreciate that. And I've been getting a lot about the AK corner, still working that out. So it may be a more condensed AK corner this year, but we're definitely going to keep talking about AKs, and we're going to have something put together. I just want to take a little break from the AK corner. It's kind of a personal thing. So maybe something we'll do
a little bit.
Maybe do every other month or something like that. But
yeah,
it's not going away. Just so everybody knows, it's coming back. But yeah, that's it. So go drink a beer, eat a hamburger, do some peanut butter and crackers, whatever floats your boat.
Well, great being here. Thanks, guys, and see you soon.
Till the next episode, as always, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer.
Firearms closer.
All right.
And your cans to flow,
and
baby.
Cans closer.